All right, we can start now. Um, Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of today's webinar. My name is Maureen Abel, and I am a member of Opportunities Unlock. So today's webinar is about assessing fully funded graduate opportunities for masters and PhD. And while we continue, I'll tell you more about what we do at Opportunities Unlock. I'll also introduce members of our team to you, and then we can start the webinar. Um, so just to let you know that we have over 600 people that subscribed for this particular webinar, which makes it a very big one. And we have a global audience who are currently listening to us. So if you're here, please, we just want you to know that you can share the link that you have with your friends who might also be interested in these opportunities that will be sharing today. So you can just share to your maybe group chats, your WhatsApp status for as many people who might want to join. Also, please, it's going to be an interactive session in as much as we have a lot of people. But if you're here, please ensure that you mute yourself. Use the chat to send in your messages. And because we have a very large audience, we're also sharing the YouTube link. So if you're unable or you know someone who is trying to join and is unable to join, you can just share the YouTube link. On YouTube, they can drop their questions that they have in the comment section on YouTube. Uh, so please ensure that you have your books and your pen to take notes or whatever writing tool that you have just to take note of all the information that will be shared here today because we have many people who will be speaking to us based on different experiences and it will be really insightful for all of us. So this is just a little bit of housekeeping for us today. So I'll talk about Opportunities Unlock. We are a youth-focused initiative. Was founded, Opportunities Unlock was founded in 2019. Um, our mission is to unlock the untapped potentials within African youths by providing access to quality education, which is one thing that is really, really required. And this access is true mentorship and life-changing opportunities like this particular one. We are committed to promoting the UN SDG, SDG 4 and SDG 5, quality education and gender equality. And so today we decided to host this program to give people more insights into what they should know when they want to access opportunities, scholarships abroad. Opportunities unlock for our team. We are made up of our team is made up of 7 young people, just like you, who are very passionate in our various endeavors. So we are very passionate and we care about Africans. We care about sharing these opportunities to Africans. Africans, we are dedicated to promoting Africans on a global stage. And so we came together with this initiative to reach out to a number of people as much as we can from our end. We are not just into sharing scholarship opportunities. There are a lot of activities that we are involved in, beginning from mentoring young people who are currently sitting for their university entrance examination. This year, we organized a mentorship program and we also give scholarships to 50 young people from Nigeria to sit for their JAMB examination. And every single member of that program, LEDC, passed their JAMB, and we are currently cheering them on as they've applied for the university. Some of them are sitting for the post UTME, and others have started getting notifications for admission. So what we do is beyond just sharing or beyond hosting webinars, we have one-on-one mentorship with these young people. We provide the opportunities. On the 30th of this month, for those of us who are interested in AI, we have a program, an AI program, which is carried out collaboratively with some team of scholars and Boabab at the Arizona State University. So if you're interested in opportunities related to AI or you want to delve into AI, you can also subscribe to that. You find that on our website and join, please. So that's for our team and a brief overview of what we do. For today, today's webinar, we have a number of speakers from different top universities globally. And so today, one of our first speakers is Mujib. Mujib is currently an MPhil student, a Master of Philosophy student at the University of Cambridge. And I'll still provide his bio before he starts speaking. We also have Spencer Cherem, who is currently a PhD candidate at the University of Manchester. And my humble self, I was speaking. I recently graduated from the University of Cambridge. And then we have Deacon Essien, who recently also graduated from the University of Cambridge. And then we have our boss lady, Esther Abel, who is also a graduate from the University of Arizona, Arizona State University. And one unique thing about all of us is that we all schooled in these universities with scholarships. And so we'll be sharing the tips that we used to get this scholarship, beginning from how we reached out to supervisors, people who did our reference letters for us, and many, many other information that are very, very critical for exploring or for getting these scholarships. So we want you to listen attentively. We also want you to share this information to your network. You can just share the link and also ensure that you follow us on our social media platforms on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Please subscribe. Follow us on our social media platforms so that when we share daily updates, we share daily updates on the various scholarships that are ongoing and tips on how to get access to these scholarships. So when you follow us on social media, once these updates are sent out, you'll be one of the first people to get it. Yeah. So this is the brief introduction, and then we'll go over to the section because we have very limited time to explore everything that we have to do today. But please, if you're following, I want you to use the chat box. You can just do like maybe use an emoji just to show that you're following what we are saying and you're active here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you so much. So right now, I'll be introducing our first speaker, Mujib Adaraloye, who is going to tell us about crafting strong scholarship applications. Mujib holds an MPhil in crop science from the University of Cambridge, where he was, I think, yeah, Mujib is just finishing his studies as where he was a Mastercard Foundation Scholar. He graduated as the best student in plant breeding and seed technology from the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, in Nigeria. His research focused on plant genetics and genome recombination to advance sustainable agriculture and food security. Mujib has also worked with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan, contributing to cassava breeding and bioscience research. Beyond academics, he is passionate about mentorship, guiding students through scholarship and graduate school applications, and inspiring the next generation of agricultural students. Sorry to mention, Mujib has just graduated. He has finished his studies. So we'll be welcoming Mujib to share his insights. Mujib, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for the brief introduction you did about me. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Like she said, my name is Mujib Adarale, and It's a pleasure to be here. So in this session, I'll be talking about key application materials and the strategies you need to put together to have a strong and competitive application package. So if you could just help me with my slide, I share with you. You want me to share screen with you? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let me stop so you can share. Yes. Is it still sharing? Um,
Yeah, I can still see your screen.
Yeah, it's still sharing.
okay, just a moment. Now it's asking me to. Sorry. Okay, I think you can go ahead now.
Okay. Will you please accept my request?
Oh, Esther.
Yeah, I just accepted. He can share.
Okay.
Just try. Are you able to share now? If you can't, just let me know. So
Can you see my
Sure.
screen now?
Yes. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, like I said, I will be sharing some tips about the application materials and the strategies to put together to have a strong and competitive application material. Okay, so to start with, before you could actually like do anything for a scholarship, you want to check, read informations about the scholarship, knowing the eligibility criteria, because knowing these criteria will give you hints and guidance on what and what to write in your application packet, and to give you in doubt if you would actually like fit in this particular scholarship. So like I have here in my slide, academic background, probably the scholarship focus on a particular study, a particular area of focus. So you might want to understand if the scholarship is for your program or not, and like citizenship, age limit, work experience, and so on. So then the next one is the application component, which is the key what's it called, aspect of today's session, like my part today. The application component required document, which is academic transcript, the CV, personal statements, and recommendation letter and test scores. For the academic transcript, I would say this is this is the most important document you need. And for academic transcript, you don't really need for some scholarship, you don't really need to have your official transcript before you apply for your study, before you apply for the scholarship. Why some you need the official transcript before you apply to the school. And most of the schools, the international schools, they count official transcript as a transcript that actually come directly from your institution to their what's called to their institution. So any transcript, most schools, any transcript you have with you that is already with you and you submitted, they won't accept it as official transcript. So you want to these are the kind of information you want to see, you want to check about the scholarship. Academic transcript, is it official or unofficial they require, or they didn't even specify. Institution where they didn't specify, you could actually go on with your normal transcripts you have with you. Like for Cambridge, I submitted the transcript with me, and and they gave me unconditional offer saying I should complete the academic requirement, which is to send my official transcript. The official transcript, I contacted my school to send the official transcript. So meaning that you could actually apply with your whatever transcript you have with you. Just read through the information, read through the information they have on the scholarship or website. Then the academic CV. For academic CV, I'll be talking about that in the following session, in the following slide, personal statement, the commissioner, like I say. So then you want to see this part is mainly talking about you want to see the scholarship requirement, the details they have on their website. Yeah, the word limit. This is very important. So information is also part of application, like the details and instruction, I mean, is also part of application. If you didn't adhere with their instruction, it means you are not even paying attention. So in that regard, it could actually like cut you off from the what's it called, the application And then selection priorities. Some scholarship focus on your leadership experience, while some research potentials, financial need, community impact, diversity, and so on. So this selection priority will actually like give you hints on what and what, how you can actually like maybe fine tune whatever which experience you have with respect to this, with respect to their priority, just core strength. Yeah, you might have the academic power, some things that will make you make kind of you have your like your unique strengths, your unique selling. You want to like make yourself unique, not just like others. And so like I said, your uniqueness, focus on your strength, your like your strongest strength. So in a situation where they have their priorities are okay, leadership experience, that's what they need. Fine, most of us we might not even have this leadership experience as an undergrad. Me as an example, I didn't do any extracurricular activities. My own was just lecture hall, my hostel, lecture hall, my hostel, exam, test. I didn't even have like this kind of very close rapport with my lecturers. Fine, I was not a bad boy. But I didn't have this very close rapport with them. And they, what's it called? They called me for all these social activities or come and be this vice president, come and do this. I ran away from them. But then after my study, I realized I needed like all these things more. But I make up for that using my NYC. During my NYC for the CDS, I try as much as possible to kind of maybe join the community development service and not just force myself to become like the vice president there, which helped me in my application packet in the situation where they ask for leadership roles and community service. Because fine, I have the academic achievements, yes, research experience, I have that too. So you present your strength through stories. Fine, you don't want to tell them, okay, yes, I am the vice president of the SDG, so. No, that doesn't really make any sense to them. I have 4.5555510 CGPA. That doesn't really make any good sense to them. Or he said, I work with IITA, gaining research experience on molecular biology, whatever, maybe DNA extraction and the like. That doesn't really make sense. So you want to make it like a story. As an example, maybe you want to link your leadership role together with hello,
Yes, please go
can you hear
on.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Please,
So
everyone is
so
advised to mute their microphones. Major, you can go on, Major.
okay, you want to make it like a story. Example, for in my on my slide here, I have like I use like use real life what's it called real examples to show impact, not just list the activities like I listed them earlier, and balance academic and select with personal qualities like resilience, teamwork, and initiative. So for this teamwork now, when I serve as the vice president, the way I portrayed that was even serving as a vice president was more even okay for me because I presented most of the activities we did there as a community and as a teamwork stuff that, okay, as a vice president, I collaborated on, I supported the president in carrying out so activities or in leading over 500 members, over whatever figures the members to carry out so activities. One that shows my leadership experience. It also showed my teamwork because talking about leadership, you can't just be a leader alone. You must be a good teamwork or what's it called player. So this kind of thing, if you make it like a story, even one story with actually we actually like have almost maybe like four skills in together in it. For resilience now, talking about your academic achievements, yes, you have 4.9 CGPA. Yes, some people have that too. But something that might actually like make you stand out, that I would say is you might just find, okay, during my undergraduate, I was part of the maybe one social gatherings, and even without fact, even what's it called, sorry, even participating in these social activities does not actually like what's it called impact my participation in my academic journey, which I see eventually became what's it called the best grading student or have GPA. It might be something personal that happened to you, maybe some yeah, it doesn't really mean you have anything bad that will happen to you, but some of us actually have something that happened maybe during our year one. We encounter something that's kind of maybe affect our emotional balance, our life significantly. But even at that, we still kind of strive, our resilience, our grit actually make us strive to become the top or be one of the best among the best again. So these are the kind of things you want to make it like a story. Don't just list it. For your skills too, okay, you have molecular skills. You don't just say, I have molecular skills in this. No, you can just go ahead with, I have extracted DNA from so samples to carry out so analysis, to carry out so analysis, something like that. So if you want to make it like a story, not just list it, they want to see that you've used this thing, if like you actually like use this thing, you don't just list it for them that I have this. Some people will be like, I have our programming experience. Yeah, you have our programming experience. What have you used your programming experience for in your, what's it called, in your academic or your experience so far? What have you, where have you used it? So you want to tell them where and where, what you've used it for. So that's what actually make it like a story, and it will give you this unique, what's it called, selling point. It won't be like other people. Many people can list that I have our programming experience, I have molecular experience, but what you use it for will make you unique. So on my next slide is the difference between cover letter and motivation letter. Some people actually like make, what's it called, this mix these two together. So first, let me quickly just talk something about the motivation letter. Some schools on their application, on their website, they will state motivation letter. If they only state motivation letter, some schools, you can actually use your personal statement on your statement of purpose for that, for motivation letter too, for some schools. Schools like Wisconsin, yeah, I know for that very well. Why some schools, we specifically said they want personal statements and statement of purpose separately. Schools like Cornell, like they specify that they want personal statements and statement of purpose for their own application packet. So in that regard, if they ask for personal statements and statement of purpose separately, so the personal statements will be more of like you are just telling them story about your life. It won't be full, what's it called, full professional. You won't focus more on like the professional way. You can just be telling them about some of the things you've encountered during your journey, your academic journey, but still you'll be relating it with your academic, your career path a bit. So why for the statement of purpose? The statement of purpose will will completely be professional. You won't really be telling them story about your life activities. Just maybe go straight to the point. So that statement of purpose, if that school states, if that school requests for statement of purpose and personal statement, that statement of purpose, I could relate that with this cover letter, the what's it called, the details, how would I even put it? The points cover letter should cover. So I will relate the statement of purpose with that. But in a situation where they didn't specify maybe personal statement or statement of purpose, you could actually like use any one of it. But to have more clarification, most things I always do is I will reach out to a graduate coordinator to have clarification of, whoa, what do you actually like have? What do you request? What should I submit? Are you saying I could use my personal statement or I could use my statement of purpose, something like that? So you want to ask them that. So now the difference in cover letter and motivation letter. So like I have here, your cover letter mostly is just normal. Some people, if you hear cover letter, some people just think you are using it to apply for jobs alone. No, you are not using it to apply for jobs alone. You can use it to apply for scholarship, for funding opportunities, for research assistance. Most of the Even for the cover letter, I would just say it is something like the code emails we send, because the code email is very brief, straightforward, like concise, mostly one page. You don't want to bulk your reader with whatever sounds. Just go on with your professional skills, your work experience. And when I'm talking about professional and work experience, skills and work experience here, I'm talking about related work experience and professional skills that are relating, why are you fit to, why, sorry, why are you like the right fit for the role? So your work experience and professional skills will actually like maybe tie, you want to tie it together. Okay, this role, I have these skills, I have this, I have that, and that's why I'm applying for this particular role. So that's what this most your cover letter will just very concise, just one page. So I can say this is something like maybe another modification of code email, but code email you just be in the body of in the body of the letter, body of the email. But your cover letter will actually like have the normal formal letter from like the formal letter what's it called, formats. So why motivation letter? Like I said, you can call it statement of purpose, you can call it personal statement. It depends on the request, like the requirement from the school. So it's focused on your personal motivation. You see, cover letter, it doesn't really maybe talk about your personal motivation, but your motivation letter, personal motivation just means like mostly the first paragraph of your motivation letter will just be like a problem statement. And that problem statement will just be like personal motivation. Like, okay, this is a problem I actually like I want to solve. And something personal, something that like motivated me. This thing, I'm motivated in doing this thing to actually like cover up on to prefer solution to this problem I stated here. So then your work experience, your career goals, you want to tell them you've written that all your write up, your personal motivation. Okay, yeah, what drive you to this thing? You stated that your work experience, your academic experience, you have that there too. But then looking forward, where do you see yourself in the next, maybe in the next 2 years or in the next 5 years? That's let me say that I'll call that the short term. After that, where will you see yourself, or what do you see yourself doing in the next maybe 10 years or more like that? So then you explain why you want the program and how it aligns with your aspiration. So the only what's it called thing I would just say it's uh the overlap between the cover letter and motivation letter here. I would just say it's the telling them all what you want and your experience, how it aligns with the program and your aspiration, that is your long-term or your short-term goals. So we move straight forward to the next slide. So
Uh,
this aspect.
just try to kindly round up or be faster. So next speaker.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay. So tailoring your application is just still talking about your uniqueness, like highlighting your strengths. So you want to highlight the experience, skills, achievement that best match the program. That best match what the program is actually like looking for. Like what I stated earlier, the priorities of the program, you want to know what they want. So you want to highlight, you want to match that there. So you don't want to submit like a generic application packet to all scholarship. So this is just organizing your application. In case you have many applications, you create a timeline, note all the deadlines, bring tasks into weekly goals. You don't want to like avoid burnout. So weekly goals will actually achieve your goals. Like for this month, I want to achieve this goal, but then just break it down in by weekly. Then track your documents. I use Excel sheet to try like to do my application, what's it called, tracker. So and then if you are saving your file for your, especially like your for CV, you have so name Erasmus, you say updated, so name Erasmus new. So you will just be confused. It's better to just put the program and the date so you know which one is the latest. And like consistency, like I said, the spreadsheet and tools, use that to have like overview of like of all your application, especially if you are doing multiple applications, which is most likely what most of us will be doing too. And then managing multiple application, what I said earlier, prioritize deadline, competitiveness, reuse core materials like the CV and the academic transcript. Although sometimes you need to remodify the CV to fit in the program requirements. And like I said, avoid burnout. Avoid burnout. It's better, it's not how far, but how well you want to apply to 5 scholarship. That's okay, yeah, you give it your all. Comparing to you apply to like thousands of applications with just giving one. Fine, you might do game of numbers, but still still you want to have a good application packet rather than just submitting bulky application for all scholarships. So the key takeaway is just be strategic, authentic, start early and persistence. So the authentic is very, very, very important. That will make it uniqueness. Everybody will be strategic. Most people will start early, persistent, but the authentic is that you want to make it unique, is your personal thing. You want, okay, these are what I've done. So that will actually make you stand out. And thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, thank you so much, Mujib. That was really, really insightful. Um, we've had a lot of information from you. Mujib has just mentioned to us that we should focus on our strengths, tell stories, like he said, tell your personal stories. The examiners are humans like you, especially today in this time where we have AI everywhere. People are rushing to AI to draft letters for them, to draft personal statements. Please ensure that you tell your real stories. Use your voice. They want to hear your voice in those conversations. So thank you so much, Mujib. We are very, very grateful. I'll be introducing the next speaker. Let me just share my slide again. But please, if you have any question, ensure that you drop them in the chat. Or if you're on YouTube and you have a question, please drop it in the comment section. So for our next speaker is Spencer Chirem. Spencer will be taking us through navigating funding and PhD pathways. Spencer is a pioneering first-generation PhD candidate in politics at the University of Manchester, focusing on political communication and public policy implementation in Ghana. He holds an MPhil in African Studies from the University of Cambridge, where he was awarded the prestigious Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at Trinity Hall. Spencer's academic journey began at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, Ghana, where he earned a first-class honors in political science, a path that was made possible through the generous support of Compassion International Ghana. His research spans political communication, environmental politics, political violence, and democratic development, areas that are critical to advancing governance and policy in Africa today. Beyond academia, Spencer has extensive experience in education coordination, teaching, and administration. He's passionate about mentorship. He has guided over 20 aspiring scholars on their journeys to secure fully funded study opportunities abroad, empowering them to realize their academic and professional dreams. And one very important thing I must mention about Spencer is that he was one of the people who mentored me to even come into Cambridge. So Spencer is going to share with us all his wealth of information and knowledge that he has about accessing fully funded scholarship. So I would advise you to listen very critically, listen to Spencer even as he shares all that he has for us today. Spencer, you're welcome. So I'll stop sharing my screen. So if you have any material, yeah,
All right, thank you. I really don't have any material to present, but probably I'll try and make it very simple so that it could be as short and concise as we expect. Once again, my name is Spencer. I'm a Ghanaian by nationality, and as been introduced, this is an opportunity for me to share what I know with you because we are looking forward to having Africans doing their best for their countries in any capacity they can. Now, the big question people may ask themselves is, do I need really a PhD before I can be successful in any profession or any career of my choice? Well, it may depend on what you are looking for. Some people want to, advance into the various fields of their life to become an academic, to become experts in certain fields they are currently in. And so for PhD, it matters not just because you think you're going to be called a doctor or you're interested in being called, a doctor because you want to add that to your surname, but then you are interested in making, a real impact in any sort of, area of inquiry. So a PhD is something one. If you are interested in having an intellectual depth about a particular field of study, I would advise you go for that. If you are looking forward to, engaging in policy think tanks, academia, research institutes, is the ticket in. That is something you should look out for. Even though some people could still go into these fields with masters, but then to advance better in this field, PhD becomes a ticket for you to dwell on. So that is one thing I would want to say regarding people who are interested. Some people at this stage may still be wondering, asking themselves, why PhD? Do I need a PhD? It depends on what your career plans are. And it gives you a plethora of opportunities, across the globe where you can, be presenting on issues. You can have the chance to do other things. Even in our case, in our political scene, in our various African countries, many people get the chance to be part of certain political decisions because of certain PhD, qualifications they have. Not to say that's the main objective, but then that also gives you, a leeway to be able to be part of certain key decision making if you have that kind of, qualification. So it's not even just about the personal goal per se. It is about what real impact you are willing to put. And the one thing I want to say before I continue the rest of my presentation is, don't pursue a PhD because it sounds prestigious. Pursue it because you have a question that keeps you awake at night. And you are ready to spend about 3 to 5 years of your life finding the answer to the question you are interested in. And that is what drives the whole PhD idea. So, a PhD should give you a question that keeps you awake. And that is why PhD exists. I might be wanting to ask you, I mean, also say to myself, I mean, what makes a PhD application stand out anywhere? One of the things I can recommend, Esther, is it possible to present the streamlined AI thing I shared with you, if it's okay to share? But then while she's figuring that out, let me continue my speech. So, is it possible, Esther? Okay. So one thing we all need to know is for PhD, it's not like the masters where you could apply in some countries, especially like the UK, without necessarily contacting a supervisor. I know for some cases in the US, you might have to do a cold email to some supervisors to let them know you're interested in their work. But PhD, most of the cases, especially about 90% of them, you have to contact a supervisor who is keenly interested in your work and is able to give you some sort of insight or some alignment with what you're also interested in. So Esther, could you type something like, for example, political communication? So some group of Ghanaians have introduced a website called Streamlined AI. It makes your life very simple. That's one thing I didn't have at the time. So now this output that is produced from this search that Esther just made, it will give you a list of professors in different schools that are interested in your area of expertise. So for example, I'm interested in political communication. That's why I give you that, I mean, as a keyword. It gives you some insights, lecturers or supervisors that are within your field and are able to give you some sort of assistance. So, I mean, the list are exhaustive. These are just a few ones they could propose to you, but it is very useful one. It guides a lot of people to be able to understand and know where to put in the application, because many of us, we have applications, but we are not sure where to begin, who to contact, which lecturers are even able to give us all these opportunities. And I think this is the first step for you to consider which lectures are available as a supervisory fit for me. And look at this. And when you're contacting them, don't just say, hi, supervisor, let's say, professor, this and that. I've seen your work and I want to work with you. Not just that. Let them know how their work, aligns with your interest, and probably something that you've read on their, profile. Maybe they've written a work keenly, related to what you are also writing or about to write. Sometimes it cannot even be necessarily, for example, let me give my personal example. The school I am in, Manchester, when I was applying, the lecturer who matched as my supervisor has no interest, in Ghana, but then has done something on social media, which is quite related to communication. So I realized that, and even his case was about Mexico, and I'm a Ghanaian, and it's not related in terms of nationality. But I realized that when we do communication, we draw on these communicative tools like social media, Facebook, blah, 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 to be able to advance our communication as in political field. So I had to contact to say, I believe your area, in understanding and researching social media would be a very great fit for me. And based on your work, blah, 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 I gave some instance where I've read some of his work to show that I really understand what I mean and how that will really fit into my PhD proposal. Because mind you, PhD is two things that make you excel there. First is your grit and your perseverance. Again, is your supervisor. If he gives you a tough time, mind you, you're going to have it very rough. If your supervisor is not willing to cooperate with you, or if you don't have a supervisor who fits your dissertation or your research topic, you would come out of the PhD either unshaped, or you come out, just regretting even to start all these 3 to 5 years of your life. So always be sure of who you are working with, what you are looking for, and your research interest. You should be very clear with that. And I think the next thing I want to say, you have to show evidence you can do the research. Okay, let's try another field. Let's say, Esther, can you try any field of your choice? Since you're an AI, just try something different. Someone will say it's just for political communication. Yeah, so I guess it's something that's very useful. I was introduced to it last week by a Ghanaian who was actually the founder of the app. And it's something I would recommend. You can check online, Streamlined AI. It helps you, to be able to have access to the lecturers and their sort of interest. So I think that's it for me. Maybe we can close it if that's okay. And then show evidence you can do the research. You have to be able to show, you don't necessarily have to get a publication before you can be admitted into a PhD. Of course, it gives you an advantage, give you a strength over another person in circumstances where it's demanding. But generally, you just have to show your strength in the research proposal. That is why they're giving you a chance to prove yourself, that now you're going to have the whole 5 years or 3 to 5 years of your life writing on a particular work of your choice. And that is why you're only doing one topic. So that topic you are doing is something that you're going to commit your whole life to it. So in the end, obviously, because when you become a doctor, you will more likely be able to publish that particular research or that work on any journal of your choice. So they want to see what strength you have in terms of research. And I had only published only one work at the time. I'm believing others I've written more than 10 than I have. But then I'm sure I got in not because, I had more publication, but maybe I was able to tell my story in a more compelling way. That really could beat the others, application. And also by the grace of God, not to boast of that, yes. So I'm just trying to say you have to find a way to tell your research story in your, your personal statement as well, whatever way the school describes it. Some school describes as Mojib said, motivational letter, whatever it is. Find a way to tell how you've evidenced your research, how you can show it, not necessarily about publications. If you do have, that's a good advantage for you. And you have to be very clear. In the research proposal, one thing I realized upon certain reviews from some mentors and others, you have to show what really the problem is. And you have to have a key research question you are researching. You can have many minor research questions you want to research, but there should be a central one that drives the whole research pack. So that is mostly something that is going to drive all your research for the 3 to 5 years of your life. In the UK, it's 3.5 years, it's like 4 years. In US, I'm living is 5 years, just like Canada as well. So that's why I mostly say 3 to 5 years. You have to know what your research question is. What is going to be that long research question that we're going to drive you to the point. And again, what has been researched and what is lacking? What is the lacuna in the research? What is something that is lacking as a gap that people haven't yet explored? Even though it could be explored, maybe it is limited in some way. And when you're talking about research gap, it's not necessarily about just even the literature review. Sometimes it could be about the method in which it was being used to explore the research. If others use quantitative approach and you want to use qualitative, or you want to use a mixed method of it, that could be a gap for you as well. So these are some key things I would want you to include in your research proposal when you are doing them, because it is what makes you stand out. And you have to be very precise, because some schools give you a word limit of about 1,500 to 2,000, which means you have to be very concise. You have to know what you're about. You don't have to speak voluminous things and blah, blah, blah. Just be concise. Know what you're about. And writing takes time. Some of us could just write research proposal in just a day or a night, thinking we are the best writers. That's not how writing is being done. You have to know that there's a book on It Shoots and Leaves. That book helps you to understand how writing is being done. It means that writing takes time. And sometimes you even get to the writer's block where you don't have much words to say. So we have to be very mindful of how we write the research proposal in the best way that I can to make you stand out. And reaching out to supervisors, that's one important thing, like I said earlier. As much as possible, I know we are doing this program in August. Let's say if you knew of this before now, you should have done that long ago to know, at least by now, which lecturers are interested in your work. If you haven't done that yet, it's still not late. You could do this, give yourself some time period between now and let's say the 1st or 2nd week of September. You should be able to communicate with some supervisors to see if they are really keen and interested in your work, because some of them will now be coming back to their offices to check emails, to see some are now back from summer holidays and all that. So there's a time for you to start engaging the lecturers. There are some schools, for example, even Manchester has some programs that do not require you to engage a supervisor before you can apply. Other schools strictly tell you that you have to get a confirmation from a lecturer before you can do that. So there are exceptions to that. But then in most cases, 90% of the schools require you to have a supervisor, because you'll be working hand in hand with the supervisor. And that is what makes it stand. So be very sure of the time you want to reach the supervisor, because others are also engaging him or her. And then you might never know when it will be your time to be responded to. So make sure you do it as early as you can. Don't wait till the deadline to say, I'm done with my work. Can you see it? Look through for me. No, they have got a lot of things in their emails and you're not the only one messaging them. So you have to be mindful of the timeline you send your application to. And the funding pathways for these schools in the UK, I'll begin with the UK one. UK has a lot of scholarships for PhD opportunities. The first one is about the UKRI studentship. It's normally called the Research Council. So for those in the social sciences, we call it the ESRC. It is funded by the UK government for people who want to invest in their PhD programs, social sciences. So ESRC we also have the BBSRC, which is also another opportunity for those who are in the medical side, that is the STEM, the biological, blah, blah, blah. I mean, BBSRC, that's one opportunity as well. And even here in Cambridge, where most of us, the speakers here attended, we have what we call a Cambridge Scholarship. That's an opportunity for you to also get into PhD here. As we speak, two most popular and very prestigious scholarships have opened now. Chevening is currently opened, and they look out for leadership, relationship building, career path, and then there's one other, I think, why the university or something, I've forgotten what criteria, but then it's about 4 criteria. You just like Mujib said, know how to tell your story, because they're looking out for the impact. It doesn't matter how small it is, it's up to you to tell your story in a more captivating way. So for the Chevening, look out for 4 criteria. I've forgotten the last of it. So look out for it and see what is being required. And Commonwealth is another, very prestigious scholarship that you can look out for, and it is also currently opened. We have the Clarendon Scholarship in Oxford, the Rhodes Scholarship in Oxford again. And one thing I must emphasize is that many of us, even before we got into admission at our master's level, were thinking that scholarship is just a reserve for certain top people or certain people. I'm here to mention to you that if you're one of those thinking that, oh, I don't deserve to be in Cambridge, I don't deserve to be in Oxford, I don't deserve to be in blah, blah, blah. See, many of those who are here have no, let's say, uncle or whatever who were fighting their way for them. They had to find their own grit and find a way to sit, their buttocks down and do it as much as they can. So you are always privy to some of these opportunities online. Just hit the submit button and then be very strategic about your application. Think what you are looking for. We are not better than you who is still there in wherever you are. You can also make it up here. It doesn't take any sort of brilliance. It is just about you knowing and praying as well to your maker, whoever religion you practice, that pray to God, that God should find his grace for you, because when your time is right, it will definitely be right for you. And in the US, I think I'm aware of the Knight Hesley scholarship, the Fulbright scholarship. Some schools, mostly in the US, give you the assistantship, where you give you the research assistant or the TA assistantship. That is something you should also look out for. So in the US, there are some of these scholarships that are available for you. And in Europe and Canada, we have the DAAD scholarship in Germany, most especially. And then Canada has this McGill and then the Vernier scholarship. And in Switzerland, there's a Swiss government excellence scholarship, which is also available for all of you. So don't just limit yourself to just one country. One thing I realized was I was one of those who was very particular about traveling to Canada when I was in Ghana at the time. No other country could appeal to me than just Canada. But then I had no idea what God had planned for me, that I was gonna be in the UK. So if I had just placed my bag in just one basket, I would never know. I wouldn't have been here. So don't limit yourself to just one country. When I speak to some people, they say UK is a hard country, blah, blah, blah. Who tell you that Canada is sweet? It's sweet. But everywhere doesn't make it. It's where you want to be, what you want to do. Sometimes you may never know the will of God, the plan of God for you. We are human beings, so we speak sometimes carnal as we are, but then open your mind to God's will and see what you're also looking for. And that makes it very easier than being in Africa, traveling between and in between countries. So don't limit yourself to just one country, thinking that that is the ultimate place for you to be. You may never know what the will of God is for you. So we should be very mindful of where we place our hope as a final destination for our studies. And the last thing I want to say about this is, we should have a timeline for when you want to submit your application. I think Mujib mentioned quite a lot about the multitasking and all that. You should have an Excel sheet that helps you to gather your own work to see where you are falling short, where you are improving, where you're making your completion, the outstanding ones and all that. Because PhD, for instance, I'm speaking to those who are aspiring for PhD, is quite a voluminous work. It's not just like a master's, which is like 10 months, 1 year. This is going to be a whole 4 to 5 years of your life working on the same topic, and it's going to be very boring for you. So as someone who wants to stand out at this stage, this is the stage for you to prepare yourself for the huge task ahead, because this is the time for you to gather more work, make your research proposal very concise, speak to the heart of these supervisors, make it more compelling in a way that they're able to see you as a competitive student. Because other schools, other people from Harvard, wherever outside of even your own school where you attended. Mind you, you're not the only person applying for a PhD. Other people are applying as well. So you can see the pool of candidates applying for the same program as you are also doing the same. So it's up to you to be very strategic and find a way to be able to get the best of resources and then always ask for help. I'm never shy to ask for help. It doesn't matter your age, whether you are even lower than me or whatsoever. I'm happy to ask for help because that is one way for you to correct your mistakes. Until you submit, always ask for help. And that's one way I can say to end my presentation. Thank you, Maureen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Spencer. Thank you for sharing those key insights. I hope our listeners are really, really taking note of all of this. It's very important that we take notes, we reach out to supervisors, just as Spencer has mentioned. So thank you, Spencer. The next on our list is me.
All right, Maureen, thank you. I think I'll handle it from here. So thank you so much, Spencer. Like the information you gave was so for me, I think I got a lot from it because right now I'm also exploring opportunities for PhD for myself, and this information you shared are very timely for me. And also for those hoping to get PhD to US, you can actually apply for a PhD from your undergraduate. Actually, before now, I did not know that there was this pathway where you can actually get a fully funded PhD from your undergraduate. So there are opportunities like that. You just have to search for them, go online, search for professors that are open to funding different projects or research project that you have in mind and write to them. Doesn't matter if you just have your undergraduate degree, they are ready to fund you. So there's you can do your PhD. So part of it, like the first 2 years is as if you're doing your master's, and then the remaining 3 years is complete research work. So the first 2 years you're spending it in the classroom learning, and then the remaining 3 years you're doing more of the research work. And so that's part. So you don't need you don't say, oh, I just have an undergraduate, and so PhD is not for me. So you can actually go for a direct PhD if that is the path you actually want to take. And Spencer, I would really appreciate if you can send us the names of those scholarships you mentioned so that we'll attach it to the email that will be sent to those that will stay till the end of the program. So thank you so much. And also the book, I think someone was asking for the name of the book you mentioned, so that they get the correct book also. So thank you. So our next speaker is Abel Maureen. I think see, today is loaded. We brought in the best of the best. And so I want you to stay to the end. If there's someone who is not here, invite them, tell them to come join this session. And I know there are so many people that are here to also learn about the Arizona State University, which is the Mastercard scholarship that is ongoing. That will be at the last part, which I'm going to take. And so I'll be introducing Abe Maureen, who happens to also be my sister. She just graduated with her MPhil from Cambridge University, where she focused on African studies. She actually has an initial master's degree from Nigeria, where can you mute who is speaking, please? So she actually has a master's degree from Nigeria, and also she graduated with as the best graduating student from Uniport in her undergraduate, and today she's going to share with us how to secure supervisors and also scholarships. So
Yeah, thank you so
want you
much.
to send I want to see some reactions as she takes over, please. Let's have some reactions and let's know that you're following, you're listening, and you're actually getting some insights from the speakers and from everything, each of the section that has been going on. Thank you so much. Is my screen up?
Yes, please. It is.
Do you have a slide you want to share, Maureen?
No.
Okay, so you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Today, I've been asked to speak about securing supervisors and also securing the scholarships. But so far, I think our first two speakers, Mujib and Spencer, have said a lot. And most of these things are cross-cutting, both for PhD and masters. They are all the same. But I'll be sharing with you insights about how you can assess these opportunities, especially securing the supervisors and scholarships. For the supervisor, so Spencer has mentioned a little, so much about supervisors and why it is important for you to secure them. But one thing I want you to know is that if you must work with a supervisor, just like Spencer mentioned, you should do your research about the interests of the supervisor. So where do you get, or how do you know about what they are currently doing? The first is to go to the departmental pages where the supervisors or the professors research or their publications are listed. So for institutions, many institutions, in fact, when you go to the university website, you narrow your search down to the department that you're interested in. And then when you go to the department website, you see some pages, some schools will say our people, some will say our faculty, some will say professors, some will even specify professors who want to supervise or available professors for supervision or something. It depends on the particular university. So all you have to do is to go there, click on those links that are shared. Then you narrow your search down. When you find a supervisor that is currently working on an area that is of interest to you, check specifically what they are doing because it's okay to say, for example, I'll speak from the humanities angle. Mujib has talked from his science, Spencer social sciences, and so I'll speak on the humanities. So it's okay to say you want to study history or you want to study mass communication or literature. Yes, maybe those supervisors are specializing in those areas, but you also have to know or you have to tailor it down to their specific research. So, for example, you want to study history. What part of history? If one trending part now, when you talk about a cross-cutting research that is currently ongoing because of the whole climate change narratives, we find people who are into environmental history, documentation, and all of that. So if that is the area that your supervisor or your potential, the person who you want to supervise you is currently focusing on, you have to narrow it down to check which person is actually working on this area of environmental history that I am interested in. So that's one thing to do because in as much as they are working on this broader field, they still have the narrow focus. So try and do that. And then after that, you have to go and research on maybe their recent publications. You can go to Google Scholar, check what are their recent publications that they've done. Many of them would attach their CV to their web pages so that it's easier for people who want to know their specialization and their area of focus at a particular time to assess that. So go check their CV. What are they actually what is their recent focus at this particular time? So you see how transforming, how fast the world is transforming. There is this transformation, this focus on digital transformation. We have AI, we have blockchain, and the rest of them. In the should I say the broader aspects, we see people going into areas such as the environmental areas, and then no matter your field, there is this way of there is this intersection currently. Maybe I don't know if maybe other of our speakers may mention, but I just want to add this in. You don't have to say for and especially those of us in the humanities, we know that most times all of the scholarship we have limited access to funding for us in the humanities. So what you have to do is check what is trending today. What are people going into? People are going into AI. So what is the intersection of AI and your current focus and your current background? And then you try to link it up. For example, for my first and second degrees, I studied linguistics and communication. But because I wanted scholarship abroad, I had to think outside the box. What do people, what focus, area of focus are they or are the supervisors looking at in Cambridge, which is um my choice university. So when I did this, I saw that there was a supervisor that is currently working on climate change and the politics of climate change. And so that was how I was able to get into the program. So you have to be flexible. You don't say because this is your background, you have to stick in it. Check what is trending, and most of us, especially from Nigeria, many countries in Africa, you find out that our syllable are still not updated to the current trends in the industry. So many works that you're doing in Africa, in Nigeria, works that people over here have done like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So how do you make yourself to stand out? You have to research what you are currently doing in line with the trends in your field. So take note of that. And the next thing, you can also ask questions, right? We've had a lot of people. In fact, one of the reasons why we had to set up this is to reach out to people broadly, because many people have been reaching out to ask questions. So if you want to study, for example, African studies, you have to reach out to somebody who is currently in that area. They would give you more insights about the kind of lecturers who you can reach out to. So you utilize your social media very well, your social networks. The time you use sometimes just to I would say catch crews. You can use it to reach out to people, and you never can tell what information you can get from them, because current students who are currently studying have a whole wealth of information. They have first-hand interaction with these supervisors or with these lecturers in their department, so they know what they are expecting. For me, like I said, I joined a mentorship program in Cambridge that helped me to get links with people like Spencer and Michael, who had to tell me more about what to expect when I'm applying and how to tailor my application. So all of these things are important. Please do not overlook them. And then we talked about, Mujib mentioned cold email. Spencer also mentioned cold email. So your cold email, like I said, because you want to also reach out to these lecturers, supervisors to gain their supervision, you have to tailor your cold email in a way that it is professional, and it is also concise as well as personalized. And for example, like I said, if you're interested in, let's say, political science, in your cold email, you're writing to the supervisor, the first thing you have to do is first, okay, let's just look at the structure of the email. The structure for the subject of the email should be catchy. You should tell them straight to the point what you want. So you could say, maybe inquiry for PhD supervision, or you're saying prospective master student interested in your research on a particular thing that you've seen. So get a very catchy subject. And then another thing, your greeting, of course, you know how to write your email, but one thing you should also show them, your supervisors, potential supervisor, sorry. If I mention supervisor, just know it's a potential one I mean. So one thing you should show them is that you are current about what they are doing or who they are. So for example, I think I have to stress this because I made a mistake a few weeks ago when I was trying to reach out to a potential PhD supervisor, and I was supposed to use professor. I went to use doctor. It was later I realized, and I'm like, oh, let me go and check. I wish I could withdraw the email, but I've already sent it out. So I don't want you to make the same mistake. You have to check many times what is listed on the website may not be the current information about them. So sometimes many of them have gone beyond the, let's say, associate professor. They are now professors because this is like a new academic session and all of that. Many of them must have gotten their promotions. So you should be mindful of this to show them that yes, you're actually following their work. So do a generic Google search, check research about them, read about them. Many of them share other aspects of their life online, which makes you to know their personality, but ensure that the email itself is not about their personal life. It is professional and straight to the point about what they do. So, but why did I mention this is because when you're greeting them, it should be about their current title. Then for the introduction, that's the next sentence that should follow. You should just talk about your academic background. So it could be one sentence. My name is Maureen Abel, and I am a recent graduate from the University of Cambridge, currently with, for example, an MPhil, and my research focus was in this area. I am reaching out to you then you could state what you want to state. But what I want to say is that be specific about their research focus, right? Be specific about the area you want to research. So like I mentioned with history, if instead of you to say, I am interested in studying, for example, for a master of arts in history with you, you could go further. You say, I am especially interested in environmental history, focusing on how, for example, colonial exploitation. I'm from the Niger Delta, so I'm going to use the Niger Delta. So say I am especially interested in environmental history, focusing on how colonial exploitation in the Niger Delta shaped local resistance movements and current ecological narratives. I've given somebody a research project. Anyway, I think when you do this in line with what they are currently their own focus, because you know that they've done something related to this, just like Spencer had mentioned um in his own presentation, they now know that you are well informed about what you're researching about. So that's it, and then you close politely. Now, when you reach out to these supervisors, sometimes you don't hear from them. Many of them this period are on summer holiday. They don't want any disruption. They don't want anybody to distract them because this is like the time they have with their families. So you could give them a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, and then you send a polite follow-up message just once. And if you don't have any response after that, you could just move on, because persistence is good, yes, but sometimes it's not good to pester people. So move on to another supervisor. That's like the previous speakers had mentioned, you can send to many people, but ensure that you don't burn out, like Najib said. Send to as many people as possible, so that you could get at least 1 or 2 positive responses from them. Also ensure that you make your CV very well tailored. There are a lot of resources online. Follow scholars on LinkedIn who are posting all of this information on how to prepare your CV. Follow us, Opportunities Unlocked, because we share most of this information on our platform: how to prepare your CV, how to write your statement of purpose. At the end of today's section, I've shared a link. It's an open access link that was compiled by a number of scholars who are also advising people on scholarships. That link was not, the content in the link was not from us, but um please use that. You could see when you open it, you find a lot of what is it called now? You'll find a lot of samples of these code emails, samples of motivation letters that Mujib talked about, personal statements, statement of purpose. You find all of these resources in that. So that is one thing I was asked to mention. And then another thing again I would say is, when you are applying for these scholarships, yes, we know of the big names: Chevening, Fulbright, Mastercard. All of these are trending, but still there are lesser known but powerful options, right? There are a lot of professional associations, research societies that are giving scholarships. And sometimes when you apply to schools in the UK, please go straight to the department and check for other fundings. Spencer mentioned UKRI. For also in the arts and humanities, I think is ARCH or so. Arts and
Yes,
humanities. A Yes, AHRC, something like Research Council, Arts and Humanities Research Council. What you have to do, you don't have to like write a generic um application. You have to tailor it to the focus of those bodies, right? So currently in the UK, if you check the AHRC website, um, you will find the areas they are focusing on. One is I think they're looking at arts, humanities, and heritage, and how that intersects with climate change. So if you're interested in any of these areas, you could tailor your application to that. So you know that, yes, we know there is a limited access or number of international students that could get into this program, that can get the funding. But when you tailor yours to the focus that is on their website, you get more options or more likelihood of getting the scholarships. So let's be mindful of that. Check, there are still bodies. For example, if you go to Cambridge website, you'll find different organizations that are giving scholarships, right? So you shouldn't just limit your scholarship search to Mastercard, and Chevening and all of that. Yes, they are good, and it's also good to apply to them, but still look out for other scholarships that are not well known. For example, Spencer got Philomathea scholarship. It's not very popular, But if you get into Cambridge and your research focus is in a particular area, you could get that scholarship. So know what is happening in the university that you're applying for. Know know the different bodies that are funding people across departments, across colleges, know the systems that work in the various institutions. Cambridge and Oxford operates in a different way from other universities in the UK. So they have various colleges, and these colleges give what is it called? Give admission, give scholarships. Some of the colleges give scholarships and sponsorships in different ways. So you also know all of these things. You have to be up on your game in this scholarship business, please. So that's for the scholarship. And then I think we've highlighted the SOP and the CV. Your CV should be catchy. We'll also be sharing in the resource material that will be shared across. You could find some samples of CVs. Know what to put in the CV and what to remove. Tailor it to the particular program. Some people are so lazy. Some people can be very lazy in their CV. If you really want to go far in this, you have to be very strategic. So if you're applying for a particular program in a particular institution, your CV should be tailored to their research focus or to the focus of the, let's say, supervisor or the program or the scholarship that you're applying for. So you don't use one CV for all your applications. You don't do that. So ensure that whatever, because sometimes, for example, some of the CVs have like bullet points you could use to expatiate on what you've done for, let's say, leadership role or a volunteer role or your work experience. Some, for example, if you're applying for project management, those bullet points should talk about how you demonstrated those skills. If you're talking about history, it should have maybe, for example, like I said, we in the arts and humanities, we are most times disadvantaged when it comes to sponsorship. But you could use those bullet points to talk about your research experience. For example, if you had done like something like field work, you could mention your field work that you did and all of that. So don't use one particular CV for everything. You have to be critical about what is actually required for what application or whatever application you're doing. So please take note of that. And another thing I would want to highlight is that,
Maureen.
okay, just this last one before I go. So expect multiple rejection. Yes, please expect multiple rejections. I'm sure every single person here who has spoken to you and who will be speaking would have had one or two rejections, either scholarship or admission, have sent us that they are sorry to inform us. But you have to chest it, like my brothers would say. So you have to accept that rejections are part of it. It's normal. There are a lot of people applying, but after every rejection, what I tell myself is the next institution or my next target after every rejection should be higher than what the other people that rejected, because I want to prepare the other people that rejected me to say it's their loss, not mine. So I had a lot of rejections, and finally I got Cambridge, which is like one of the top universities in the world. So you know that rejections are normal. Once it comes, please don't feel depressed. A lot of people give up because they just got one or two rejections. If I want to count the number of rejections I got, that even made me to start my master's in Nigeria first and wait on God. It will be so much. So please accept rejections and move on, but that shouldn't stop you, please. Uh, thank you so much. I still have a lot to say, but because of time, I will just stop here. So thank you. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section and I will take that later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you for your section. This was great. And I think this is like one of the best webinars we've had over the years. And I know everybody is getting like one or two things from each of our speakers. So if you have any question, drop it in the comment section. I see our speakers are there responding to some questions. So anyone you have, just drop it and they will respond to it. And I want to urge you to stay till the end because you will get so much insight. We'll send out our resources also to those who are going to stay to the end of the webinar. So please don't leave. Maureen, kindly introduce our next able speaker. Thank you.
Okay, just a moment. Let me project the slide. Okay. Mm. Can you see? Is it showing my entire screen now?
Yes, yes,
The screen is showing, or
yes. She's
it's
showing.
okay.
Mhm.
All right, everyone. So I will be introducing a very unique person, Andikan Asen, and she'll be telling us about how to avoid pitfalls and maximize your chances of getting scholarships. Andikan is deeply committed to advancing educational equity and expanding opportunities for learners in under-resourced contexts. She is a Mastercard Foundation Scholar and she holds an MPhil in Education, Globalization, and International Development from the University of Cambridge. Her research focused on the challenges faced by students in vulnerable communities, particularly those impacted by climate-related disruptions. Beyond academia, Andikan has extensive experience in teaching, mentorship, and community engagement. She has designed and implemented programs that enhance educational access, strengthen resilience, and equip young people with the skills needed to thrive in challenging environments. Her work reflects her strong belief that with perseverance and dedication, individuals can achieve their goals and contribute to positive change in their communities. Through mentorship and advocacy, and Deacon continues to inspire and to empower learners across Africa. Thank you so much, Andikan, for being here. You're welcome. Please,
Thank you
over
so much. Before I start, I would like you to confirm that you can hear me.
very clearly.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all good. I'm sorry I'm not in a very conducive environment, so pardon me. I would be talking to you without my video on. As mentioned, my name is Andikan Essien, and as you may have already heard from Maureen, I am passionate about educational inclusion, equity, and equality, particularly in resource-constrained environments. My colleagues and friends have said quite a lot of things on how to secure fully funded scholarships and admissions. So I'll just talk to you about common mistakes in admissions and scholarship applications, positioning yourself for scholarships, English language test waivers, interview strategies, and recommendation letters. So some of you sent in a few questions on these areas during your registration. So let's dig in. Under common mistakes in admissions and scholarship applications, we have questions like, what makes strong applications get rejected? I like the emphasis on the strong applications. It shows that even strong applications get rejected. So first of all, I would like to mention that having a very high CGPA doesn't always mean that your application will automatically get accepted. It is an advantage, no doubt, but you must be able to make use of it by making sure that your supporting statements and other documents are well put together to complement your CGPA. So I started off with this because I know that there is always that misconception that having a very strong or high CGPA alone can get you into any program or even secure you a fully funded scholarship. But that is not always the case, you know. Now, let's say, for instance, that a program accepts only applicants with a first class or a 2-1. Now, if someone with a first class relies on that alone as their advantage, they shouldn't even be surprised if another candidate with a 2-1 secures a spot instead, simply because of their overall applications, including their CVs, their essays, personal statements, and other supporting documents. So even if a program accepts just first class, like some programs at the University of Cambridge and Oxford, they just stick to first class students. So even if programs like that exist, oh yes, of course they exist. So even if you're applying to programs like that, don't forget that there is always the 4.5, the 4.6, 4.7, 8, 9, and of course the 5 points. So you should always put in all your best. Make sure that your other applications resources are very strong enough. So having said this, I am going to go straight into listing 3 other things that make strong applications get rejected. One of them is not following the instructions. So many applications are rejected just because the applicants did not stick to the guidelines. Now, for example, going over word limits, maybe missing documents, you were asked to submit a particular document and you skip that part, or not formatting the essay the way you were asked to format your essay. This could relate to line spacing. Please always check to confirm, because some departments always have specific way they want you to format your documents, like your line spacing, numbers of pages that they want you to stick to, even numbers of words, even your word count as well, your font size and your font type. Always pay attention to stuff like that. That is why it is very important that you look through your department's website to be sure of what they want. Now, if I were one of application reviewers and you just send in your application, even if it's strong, and you just send in your applications without following these instructions, I would see it as you being very careless. And I don't think that is the kind of people reviewers want in their programs. The next one is weak personal statement or essay. This has been said quite a number of times, and that is because your essay is one very important thing that you should not miss out. It stands you out as a very strong candidate. So on this, some applications or some applicants focus too much on achievement without showing why they matter or how they connect to your course or your scholarship. So do not just write generic essays that could apply to any school or scholarship. I know that there's always, like Maureen said, she talks about being lazy, having a particular essay or a particular personal statement that you say, okay, this is what I will use to apply to all the scholarships. No, it doesn't work that way. Scholarships have requirements. Different schools, even though your program is related to another program in a different school, there is always something that makes each of them different. So go to the website, check it, make sure that your essays are tailored to specific scholarship or course of study. Committees want to see a clear story about your goals, your values, and why you are a good fit. So you should always be able to demonstrate this through your essays and your statements. Do not be that strong candidate who forgets to connect their story to the mission of the university or the scholarship. For example, the Mastercard scholarship at the University of Cambridge, where I got into, wants candidates who are passionate about contributing to climate resilience and sustainability in Africa. As such, no matter what program or course that you are applying to, you should be able to connect it to your proposal or statement to fit this requirement. So like me, who is so much interested in the field of education, I had to think about how to link climate sustainability to the field of education. So after so much research, I came to the realization that some learners are being affected by climate change. Hence my research topic on climate-induced educational inequality. Is anybody saying something, please?
I've muted him.
Okay. So as I was saying, I had to link my my passion or my field of studies to climate sustainability, where I looked at how climate stressors like floods, droughts affect students' learning outcomes and access. The third one on the list here is weak recommendation letters. Now, I am not going to spend too much time on this because I will be discussing this later on in details. But let me say that it is very necessary to choose referees who know you well and not just one who writes very generic letters. A recommendation letter that says, oh, she was a very good student is much weaker than one that shows specific achievements or character traits and so on. So I know that when it comes to recommendation letters, it is not usually, of course, directly something you have control over. But like I said earlier, I'm going to share some few tips to help you get really strong recommendation letters. So let's go on to the second one. We are going to be talking about positioning yourself for scholarships. On this, I have few questions here that were sent in the registration. What steps should I take to position myself for securing a master's degree scholarship? Number 2, how do I increase my chances of securing a scholarship? These questions are quite similar, so I am going to answer them simultaneously. Number 1, I would say research early and widely. Do not, we've talked about, yes, the other speakers have mentioned this. Do not stick to a particular scholarship and start quite on time. Do not wait until the deadline is in a few weeks' time or in 2 weeks' time. Do not wait until then. You should start your application on time so that you get all your supporting documents ready long before the deadline. It is always advisable to submit before the deadline because of traffic when it gets to the deadline. Now look into different scholarships offered by universities, governments, foundations, scholarships like Mastercard, Trinidad, Erasmus, there are a lot of them, Commonwealth, and or even professional associations to have scholarships. If you're applying to schools like Cambridge, Oxford, look into the different colleges to see there are always some funding opportunities in different colleges. So yeah, make a list of eligibility criteria. GPA, what field of study is eligible for this scholarship? Is it based on merit or financial need? etc. There are a lot of them. So target only these things. The ones you know that you are very strong for, target those ones. Do not waste your time on things you know that your chances of getting in is quite low. 2, another one here is build a strong academic profile. So we are still talking about how to position yourself for scholarships. And second on my list here is build a very strong academic profile. So if you are still in school, I would advise that you aim for a first-class degree or a 2-1 at least. Now, if you are already out of school and your grades do not or are not top tier, strengthen other parts. Let your work experience speak for you. Take related courses to boost your chances. Volunteer and make sure that you mention all of these impacts. The ones you've made, the ones you are making, the ones you're even about to make after the scholarship. Mention all of them. Scholarship often reward people who combine academic with impact and leadership. Document your contributions with numbers. I have a mentor who likes to emphasize on quantifying your results. Oh, I mentored 50 students. 10 of them secured scholarships. I did this to a number of this, something like that. Always quantify them. They want to see the number. They want to see that impact. And another one is craft a powerful personal statement. We are here again because it is very important. Clearly explain your academic goals, your career vision, and why you need the scholarship. Show how your story connects to this scholarship's mission. It's very important. Your leadership, your community development, whatever global change, how does it relate to the scholarship's mission? I used an instance with the Mastercard scholarship. Use evidence, not cliches. Back up claims with real examples. Always use the STAR method. Using the STAR method is very, very important. If you're wondering what the STAR method is, it's just the normal STAR, STAR, where S stands for situation. Situation is where you briefly set the scene. Describe the context or the problem. Example, during my internship, our team faced a delay in submitting a key project due to limited data. And then we have the T that stands for task. Explain your role and what you need or what you achieved. So my example here, I have, as the research assistant, I was responsible for gathering missing data and ensuring the report was completed on time. Now, if you listen to what I read first and the second one, there is a change. The situation was during my internship, our team faced and then for my task, I said, as the research assistant, I was responsible. Now I am no longer hiding under the we umbrella. You stand out, bring yourself. What did you do? I was responsible for doing this. And then action is where you highlight the specific steps that you took to address the issue. What did you do? Example, I streamlined the data collection process by creating a survey and maybe double check the accuracy of responses and all of that. And then the last one, which is the R, that stands for result, is share the outcome. Always quantify, like I mentioned before, showing positive impact. For instance, we submitted the project 3 days earlier, or the supervisor pressed me, this and that, recommended me for future opportunities. So R is where you show the result of your impact, the result of your task, the result of your responsibility. Also, I think I mentioned this, apply widely. I talked about this, and I'm just going to add a few things. Don't depend on one scholarship. We mentioned that. Tailor each application instead of copy-pasting. Please do not copy-paste. Committees can easily spot generic applications, which is why you should avoid using generative AI for your write-ups. There's something AI does. It uses specific words. It doesn't just connect. The emotion, you won't feel it. It's just going. Nothing is flowing. But when you tell your story by yourself, and of course, only you can tell your story. So tell it in such a way that you know what, put yourself in the shoes of the reviewing committees. If I have to take out this amount of money to invest in someone, what would I want to see in that person? Put yourself in their shoes. It's a lot of money. They don't even know you. What speak for you are the things you submit. So make sure that they're of impact. Let them be strong. Let them be strong enough to be able to convince someone that, oh yes, I should take out this amount of money to sponsor someone in school. And then on this note of putting yourself out for scholarship, my last point here is stay consistent and organized. Now, if there was something I would mention as one of those things that helped me, it would be this one. I was so consistent and determined. Like I said to myself, I am going to get this scholarship. So I worked so hard. Like I got in my second year of trying. I tried it out the first year, and I got, so like Maureen mentioned, expect rejections. I got so many rejections, and so I used to wonder what to do to make myself better. But then after the first year, and I saw that scholarships were no longer opened, and admission windows had closed, I sat down, I took courses, I did extra things to make my next application worth it, better than the last ones. And yeah, eventually I got in. So do not give up if this is your first time. I'm not saying that first timers, trust me, people getting in their first time of applying for scholarships. And I wish you people the same. But then if you are applying for the second time, or maybe you're applying like subsequently, this is your how many times, I don't know. Please do not give up. There's this Nigerian, when I got my scholarship and I told one of my friends, what she said to me was, in the Nigerian pidgin, they would say, now who give up lose. I'm so happy I did not give up. So please go for it. I'll be here cheering for you. So yeah, in staying organized, create a calendar with deadlines, and remember that missing just one requirement can cost you the entire award and your hard work in general. So please, be sure to always submit all the required documents. Now to the English language test waivers. Someone asked if a language test is compulsory to study in the UK, and when and how it can be waived. Yes, most UK universities require an English language test. However, this can be waived if you meet certain conditions. For instance, this doesn't apply to all universities, but some universities accept proof of previous study in an English language speaking country, or even your SSCE, what you call the SSCE that is offered, or that is given to you by the WAEC body, what you all know as the WAEC, yeah, that result. So if you scored very well in your English language test, most universities in the UK accept that. But since these policies differ, it's always important to check the specific requirements, English language requirements from your school, and check if you also have to request for waiver directly from the admissions office. The University of Cambridge do not accept WAEC results. They do not accept the SSCE. And most courses, okay, for myself, I was assessed by the university language body. That was after I got into the school. But for most courses, they will always require you to write the English language test. So yeah, you apply, and then in your admission letter where you have your conditions, the university will let you know if you have to reach out to the language center for you to be assessed or not, or if you have to submit a formal or your official English language test. So let's move quickly to interviews. The questions I have here on interviews. Okay, just one question said, what advice would you give for attending scholarship interviews? This is a very generic question. So yeah, if you are invited for an interview, a scholarship interview or admission interview, some programs always have interviews, and then some scholarships too always have interviews. Not all of them are free from that. But if you are invited for any of them, bravo. It means that your application stood out and that the committee wants to see something, or they saw something of interest in you and they want you to come and explain very well. So always remember that interview is not like it is the final stage most times. Once you are done with that, yeah, that is when you get the decision whether you are in or you're out. But it's always the points where you have to prove that what you wrote on your paper truly reflects who you are. So do not relax. And of course, interviews are always video, you know, they have to see your face and you see them too. So do not relax or become reluctant. Getting to the interview stage is like and let me emphasize that getting to the interview stage does not automatically mean that you are people get rejected. I was rejected at a point. I did an interview and I got a rejection. So do not relax. Don't say you are there. You're not there yet, but you're almost there. So it's like a step away from securing the award and also a step away from not securing it. So, what advice would I give for attending interviews? Number one, research the scholarship and the sponsor. Understand their mission, their values. Look at past recipients. Align your answers to what they care about. When I was applying for the Mastercard scholarship, I went to the website and I looked at past recipients. I was just going through their proposals and all of those things. I saw quite a lot of things and they were doing very big stuff and all of those things. So it kind of like made my, maybe I was low on what to do, but it kind of like motivated me to aim for something bigger. So I was really seeing very powerful things that people were doing. So yeah, know your application inside out. Be ready to expand on your essays because they will ask you. You said that in your essays, you said that at this point in time, you did this. They will ask you again. Your achievements and the experiences. So do not repeat word for word. They've already read it. You have to be real in whatever responses you are giving to them. Practice common questions. When I was invited for an interview one time, I went on YouTube, I checked for common questions, go on LinkedIn, check with people who have gotten that particular scholarship or who have gotten into that particular program. Check in with them, or what were the questions, what potential questions should I expect, all of those things. Prepare very, very well. Show confidence and authenticity. Speak clearly, be yourself, and demonstrate genuine passion for the field of study that you are interested in. Please do not fake your accent though, or try to sound like a robot. It limits your ability to speak confidently. I always tell people that by the grace of God Almighty, I got to study at the University of Cambridge, and I saw that nobody cares about your accent. Speak the way you just say it. Speak just say it the way you want to speak. Nobody cares about how you sound. So don't sit down, don't go for an interview, sit and try to sound like what you are not familiar, because you are not going to be consistent with it. And they can see through you. So be fluent in whatever accent you are familiar with. And yeah, as long as you are making sense, that's okay. Prepare questions to ask. At the end of every interview, there is always they always ask that question. Do you have any question for us? Committees will always ask that particular question. So it is very important for you to prepare questions to ask them at the end of the interview. So please utilize this opportunity. Do not tell them that you have no question, or it doesn't show that you are very intelligent enough not to have questions. No, they'll rather be disappointed, because how can you not have any question? So even though they will not say it to you, but yes, they'll be disappointed. So please always have questions to ask your interviewers. Mind your body language. Sit upright, maintain eye contact, and show absolute interest. It is very important. Do mock interviews. Practice with friends, your mentor, to refine your delivery and timing. Scholarships always have, they'll always send you the duration of the interview. So practice so that you are able to maintain that timing. And yeah, let's move on to the recommendation letters is what I have as my last area to talk about. I'm almost there. Recommendation letters. I got questions like, what makes a good recommendation letter? I'm going to share a few characteristics of a good recommendation letter. Number one, it should be specific and not generic phrases from your referee. Like I said, I know that this isn't about you, but okay, let's just go on. I'm going to share a few tips on how to get strategies to get very good recommendation letters. But now let's just look at the characteristics of a good recommendation letter. So yeah, it shouldn't be just generic praises like, oh, your this student was a very hardworking student or something like that. Your recommender should be able to show how hardworking you were or you are, okay? So they should be able to say something like, oh, she consistently did this, she was submitting her work ahead of deadlines while balancing multiple projects. See how I kind of like expanded that hardworking. So they should not just say that you were hardworking and that was it. They should add more. How were you hardworking? That is what they want to see. Clear examples and evidence. Good letters should highlight concrete achievements, leadership roles, or contributions that proved your abilities. Your abilities to be able to study, of course. Another one is personalized insights. Please, your recommender should be someone who knows you very well. Schools will always ask for some programs would always ask for both academic and professional recommenders. So check out for academic, it simply means maybe your past lecturers or presence, as the case may be. Professional referees are your employers. Yeah. So rather than giving them just template style letter, please make sure that they are able to speak very well about you. Align your recommendation letter with the opportunity. Now, these things are not, this is not you doing it. So these are things you need to communicate with your referees to be able to put in a very strong recommendation for you. In most cases, you won't even get to see the recommendation letter. Some schools allow you to upload, but then some schools won't let you do that. Some schools will tell you to input your referee's email address, which is usually an official email address, not the @gmail.com, but maybe the depending on the organization, maybe cam@cam.ac.uk, so something like that, not at gmail.com, not at yahoo.com. They do not want personal email addresses, so they want something official. And so sometimes they would always ask that your recommendation letter comes in a letterheaded paper. Then another one is focus on impact and potential. They should also be able to show not just what you've done, but what you are capable of doing in the future. I think this is all I have to say about characteristics of a good recommendation letter. But then
Can you try to round up, please? Our time is
okay. Okay, I knew you were going to say something.
Mm.
I'm almost there. So I'm going to share a link. I'm going to share a link to a post. Since I do not have so much time, I just wanted to point out some things. But I will share a link to a post by my friend Great Namani on LinkedIn. Today he shared the 7 strategies to secure strong recommendations. So I don't know. Let me just point out 1 or 2 of them. One of them here is build genuine value adding relationships. Please do not just go to your recommenders when you need them. Stay in touch with them, check on them, because of course you will always need them. So another one here is if you have nothing to offer them, offer gratitude. Of course, you may not have anything to give to them. Back then, I used to think, will it be an insult if I send recharge cards to my recommenders? I was always looking at it like, it's too small or something like, but you should always be able to offer gratitude. Thank them as many times as, oh, I'm so grateful that you did this for me. Contact them early. It is very important. Do not wait until 2 weeks to your deadline. Of course, most scholarships and programs, the deadline comes together with your recommendation letter. Your recommender has to submit on or before the deadline. And then share some resources to them to guide them. Universities or departments always have those things that they want your recommender to talk to them about you. You can share or how they want them to write or what they want them to include in the letter. You can always share those resources to them to guide them. Keep them abreast, yes. This one is very important. Do always tell them when you get in, always tell them, oh, I got this offer. Do not wait for them to hear these things from other people. It doesn't portray a good personality. So because of you always need them. Be selective with your referees. Please, I will just share the link. Great Namani, that's his name. So let me just put the link. Go there and read the 7 strategies to securing strong recommendation letters. This brings us to the end of my session. Thank you for listening to me.
Wow, thank you so much, Andika. I took notes. In fact, my note is already full. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. One of the things that cracked me up was the fake accent thing. Like, we are all here. These guys value people who speak naturally. So don't come and fake accent for them. Don't come and tell them that you know their accent more than they do. It irritates them, in fact. Be as natural as you can. So thank you so much for sharing that. And very quickly, we have our last speaker for today's section. But before I introduce Esther, I can see that Dave, your hand is raised. Please, if you have a question, you can just drop it in the chat, and some of the speakers will respond to you immediately, or maybe after Esther's section, we could take a few questions, but drop it in the chat. Thank you. So Esther Abel will be sharing information about how to access Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at ASU, and because she's in the United States of America, she'll be sharing information about how to access US graduate funding. Esther is a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, and she has an MSc in Artificial Intelligence in Business, which is like one of the top fields right now, from Arizona State University in the USA. She is the founder of Opportunities Unlock, which is this social enterprise that bridges the opportunity gap for underserved youth and refugees through mentorship, digital skills training, and scholarship access. Since 2019, her work has empowered over 5,000 students through programs such as JAM mentorship for 50 students, including tuition grants and scholarships, AI training scholarship for youth in Nigeria and in Africa generally, and education summits across Nigeria. Esther's mission is to equip the next generation of Africans with the tools, the skills, and the opportunities to thrive globally. Esther Abel, thank you so much for your impact and welcome on stage.
Thank you so much, Maureen. And can you just share your screen for me? I specifically want to thank everyone that has joined today, and also our speakers, thank you so much for your time, for your efforts. I really appreciate you leaving the important things you're supposed to do to actually share this knowledge. It's not everybody you invite to come and talk that will want to share the knowledge they have. And so, thank you. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this particular session to hear about the ongoing Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And Maureen, can you move over to the next slide? So I just did like a one page, a one slide to summarize everything. I see the reactions and the chats. So I thought the scholarship was going to open late this year because the new scholars just came in this month. In fact, we had to go welcome them, pick them from the airport and help them settle in. And so they just came in this August. Last week, Friday, I was with them, went to do orientation, to speak to them about the AI program and different things, right? And so Mastercard is on a mission to bring, should I say, Africans, to educate Africans. And currently for ASU, we're trying to, each year it's supposed to be like 30 students each year from Africa. So this year, the students are already here. In fact, for ASU, there are different programs, not just the programs here on campus. There's also those at Kepler University. They are doing the online masters. So they are actually studying from Kepler, Rwanda, but they are taking courses from ASU. So they will also get the same degree as people that are here in ASU. And then there is the online section certificate course that is also ongoing. And people, like I know when it came out, I advised a lot of people to apply because like it might actually give you an edge to when you apply for this particular scholarship. And so I'll just go straight because I don't want to take much of our time. We've spent so much time already. For Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, one thing I would advise you is to do your research because when you apply for the course, you can't change it. Whatever you've applied for, you can't come and tell them, oh, I'm not so certain about this particular course and I want to change it. You can't change it. So first of all, do your research. Don't even once you go through this application, the page, and you see that, oh, you meet all the requirements for the Mastercard scholarship, the next place you should go to is the particular course you want to apply for. So you have different courses there. Different years, there are different courses for each year. So the fact that there was AI in business for last year doesn't mean that there will be AI in business this year. So if you're open to see AI in business, you won't see that. So the courses that are actually listed there, those are the courses that they are funding. You don't go to ASU and apply for a different course and you expect Mastercard to fund it. No, that's not how it works. And you don't apply to Mastercard and to ASU first. So for ASU, different schools have their own different ways of doing it. For ASU, you apply to Mastercard Foundation first. Now that the application is currently on, you apply to Mastercard Foundation first using the link which they've shared. I'll still share the link again at the end of the session. So you apply to them, and when you apply, um, they screen your essays, they screen your applications, and if you pass the first stage of screening, they will let you know that, oh, you've passed the stage, and then they'll be inviting you for an interview. Then they will also let you ask you to go apply to ASU. That's when you can now go and apply to ASU, and you will be given an application fee waiver to go and apply to ASU, because if you actually go directly to ASU to apply, you're going to pay the application fee. But for Mastercard, if you're applying through Mastercard, you're not paying that fee. You apply to Mastercard, they screen you, and then you pass. When you pass, they will now give you the fee waiver to apply to ASU. When you get your admission from ASU, you let them know after your interview, then they will now tell you if you've gotten the scholarship or not. So that is like the entire process. So let's come back to the start. One important thing, like I mentioned, go through the courses and check which one you truly check the scholarship first. If you meet the requirement, the requirements are already listed there. If you are above 33 years, there is no need trying. If it's not open to HND, so let me just take this one. If you have a HND in Nigeria, we have like HND, it's not open to them. It's clearly stated when you go to the page. It's just for a bachelor's degree. If you already have a master's degree, it is not for you. You don't want a situation whereby you've gotten the scholarship and they discover that you've gotten a master's degree. There is automatic rejection. Even if you've already told, like paid for your flight, your visa and everything, they will still reject you. So if you've already done your master's, there is no need. If you're above 33 years or below 18 years, there's no need applying for it. So you check if you actually meet these qualifications before you can now start applying. Then when you're sure that you meet the requirement for Mastercard, go to the particular department that you want to apply for and check if you also meet their own requirement. Like I said, if you apply to Mastercard and you list a particular course here, you will not be able to change it. So do your background research about the courses and see which one you truly fit into that will give you an edge, because thousands of people are applying currently. As of today, more than 2,000 people, in fact, have already applied. So you don't want a situation where you're submitting an application and you're not really sure if, you meet that the requirement for that particular department you're submitting your application for. So please, as much as possible, do your research. Also, this is not just for ASU. It also applies to other Mastercard Foundation Scholarship that you're applying for. Also do your research about the particular department before you submit your application so that you won't have issues and later start writing mails and mails to them like, oh, this was not really what I wanted. Can I change and all that? You already giving yourself, disqualified yourself. And so when you've done that, you're setting that, okay, this is a particular course I want to apply for, then you can now start your application. So there are two ways of submitting your application. You can either download the PDF, fill it and submit, or you click on the link and fill up and you submit. But for me, I would advise you that you submit directly on the link. Right? What you do, you can download the PDF, look at all the information that you need to fill up, make sure that you have all those information ready. Then you now click on the link and then you go fill it up and submit your application. So, and whenever when you submit your application and it does not show that, oh, your application has been successfully submitted, or maybe you had network issue when you were trying to submit your application, you're not really sure, write a mail to them. You can see the Mastercard Foundation email is there. You can write a mail to them asking them if they received your application. They would respond. But please don't go and start bothering them when you know you've already submitted your application. But if you're not certain because maybe you had network issue, you did not see this, or your application was submitted or something like that, you can always write to them and let them know that, oh, when you were trying to submit your application, there was network issue or there was this and that. And that was why you're just trying to confirm if your application was submitted successfully or not. Now, going down to crafting a strong essay, the requirement there says 450 to 500 words. Please do not go and write below 450. That's automatic rejection. I'm just giving you inside tips. Don't go and write below 450 words. Make your write-up maybe 490, 480, put it at that range. Make sure that, and it shouldn't just be that, oh, you're just writing because you want to hit that number. No, make sure that there are things, quality things in your write-up, all the things you've done. Let me give you like an example how I normally advise my mentees. I start from my undergraduate and I work up through my current level. My undergraduate, what did I do? What did I study? What actually prompted me to study that course? What was the issue? Was there an issue in my community? Was there an issue in my family? What were the challenges I faced? How was I able to overcome that challenge? How did I end up graduating with this particular CGPA? What were the projects I did in school that stood out? Before you think of all those stories, you've even gotten more than 500 words. You might even have so much words that you would not be able to, like you would not be able to put in, right? So as much as possible, think about every stage of your life. Don't just go straight to AI. I'm actually in the field of AI, and a lot of this application, like last year when we wanted to do the webinar, I went and I asked them like, oh, what awards do they like? How do they disqualify people? And one of them like told me that the first set of about 2,000 people were disqualified as a result of using AI. Like they would know because you see the similarity and you see the words that they are actually writing, you know that this is AI generated words. And so like that's huge number of people were disqualified because of AI, the use of AI. And so please write what I do or what I would tell people is, first of all, pick a paper, a book, write with your hands. Just write your stories with your hands, or you can, maybe you have a laptop, just start typing your Word document. I did this, I did this, I did that. Write everything you've done. And then when you're sure you finished writing, then you can now maybe use AI to arrange it, make it more professional, remove grammatical errors. But then that is your own true story. You're not just going to AI and say, oh, I was asked to write a personal statement on motivation, academic, and my professional experience. This is my CV, write about me, or just write something about me. You've already disqualified yourself. So you sit down and draft your own write-up by yourself. After writing it, then before you go to AI to modify it, to actually make it more professional, and you get something professional that you can submit, something without grammatical errors, because as much as possible, you don't also want them to start reading your essays and they are seeing a he where they're supposed to see she or her or was, like different issues on your essay. So please, please make sure it is not completely 100% AI generic, even 50% AI generic, avoid it. Let it be your story. Let it be your own real story that you're actually submitting, but then you use AI to work on it. And another thing is you're asked for this particular scholarship, you're asked to write on two essays. One is the personal statement, and the other one is the maybe a resilience, something on your resilience and leadership. And when is your personal statement? I think Mujib did a very great explanation about it, and so I'm not going to talk too much about it. When we share the recording, you can go over it again, you can look at it again. But for resilience, leadership, and impact, make sure you quantify. And our speakers have really spoken about this. Like all of them have spoken about this aspect. So make sure you quantify your impact. For me, I think one thing I did when I was writing my essay was that I spoke about what I do in Opportunities Unlocked. You don't have to do like do a project for the whole, if you're from Nigeria, like project that will affect the whole of Nigeria before you now write it that, oh, that was an impact. No, it can be as little as the project you did during your NYSC can be as little as, oh, you went to mentor some kids and you taught them skills and how it impacted them. How many kids did you teach? How many children did you teach? What was the impact in their life? Have they taken up those skills? Those are the things they want to see. Did you, maybe something, it can be something like sponsoring children in school to take up computer science course, right? What's the impact? Like those are the little things they want to see, but quantify them. You did this. What was your role? Using the STAR method that was mentioned also during this. What was the situation? What did you do? What was your own role? What did you do? And what was the final result? That is what you write. By the time you draft all these things, and you say that like you have so much to even write, sometimes you might have too many things that you have to start cutting them down. So that's how you do. And also remember for each school, they have something they are focused on. For Cambridge is about climate change, this one, that one, climate, that one. For Arizona State University, it's about innovation and technology. So make sure that Your essays are drafted in that, in focusing on innovation, focusing on technology, and also within that write-up, also add how are you going to give back to Africa. So are you just coming to learn? After you learn, you now make money, because get job, make money for you and your family? No, even if you're from the poorest family and then you come and you don't state how you're going to give back to others, you're not getting the scholarship. So what impact will you make in your life and also the life of the people in your community, not just you and your family? What impact are you going to make even after securing this scholarship and studying, right? So they actually want to see that. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions like, right now on my LinkedIn, I have over 300 connection requests, which I've not even attended to. I have several emails I've not attended to because like I have a lot going on right now. But the reason for this particular webinar is so that we can actually help people a group of people at the same time. And so many people signed up for it. About 600 and something people actually signed up for this webinar. And that's why, like, I just want to share some of the tips, some of the ideas, and the things I know about the scholarship to help a lot of people. So when it comes to recommendation, please, I think Adinka has actually spoken about this. Make sure that you go to somebody that knows you truly. Right now, you can get your recommendation is supposed to be about your leadership and your academic success, right? So if the person, you can actually get from your workplace, from your lecturers, your professors, anybody that you're close to, but make sure that these things are stated inside, because if you go and meet your boss in the office, you will mostly want to write about the things you're doing in the office, but find a way to put things about your academic success within that, or preferably get a lecturer from your school to write it for you. If you're not close to them, reach out to your course rep or your course mates that you know, that actually had a close relationship with your lecturers or your supervisor or people from school. Reach out to anybody. Like, this is a lifetime opportunity. I always say that Mastercard Foundation scholarship is the best in the world. Like, it's the best you can ever get, Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. So if there's anything you can actually do to get it, I think you should do it. You should try as much as possible to actually get it. So reach out to people in your school, anybody that can help you get your professor or your lecturer to write you that recommendation. Whenever you're sending to them, don't just tell them, oh, I want you to write me a recommendation letter. No, do a draft. Like, if you know you're applying for MS in information technology, right? And you've done like some projects that are related to information technology, draft the recommendation letter by your own self. So when you're sending the request to that particular person, you attach that recommendation and say, oh, I've already done a draft that is focused on what I want to study and the scholarship I'm applying to. So you can look through it and make the recommendation. And so someone asked, oh, who should it be addressed to? And so that was why I added this. Please address it to Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program at Arizona State University. So this is how you should address it. Another thing is following the naming format. I remember our first speaker, Mujib, said if the information is also part of the application. That is very true. Follow instructions. Like they said, 450 words. Don't go and write 400 words. You have failed already. I know I saw something where they wrote submit a PDF I think the CB, they requested for PDF. If they say PDF, submit PDF. If they say Word document, submit Word document. Another thing is the naming format. I know they wrote that you should name your document in a particular format before submitting. Please follow that format. So what I would advise is before you submit your application, put everything in a folder, go back to the requirements, read through them. In fact, just write down the requirement on a piece of paper and then tick them, go through your applications and tick through to see that, oh, you've actually done everything required of you before you submit your application. Because sometimes you might actually miss some of those things. It might be an oversight, but when you write them down and then you just go through them before you submit, it helps you ensure that you're 100% accurate. So please go through those requirements again. They said a naming format for your document, a particular format for the document, a particular document type they want, which is PDF. Follow those instructions. The word count, do not go above or below it. Please also follow that. And another thing is, like I think I've also mentioned that do not go and submit. You know, Arizona, like right now, you guys are we started this meeting at 4 o'clock. I don't know the time you are like in your different countries, but I know Nigeria it was 4 p.m. and my time here in Arizona it was 8 a.m. So Nigeria is like 8 hours ahead of us. So do not say, oh, I will submit so time. The time difference might be an issue. So don't go and submit that particular day that the application is closing. Maybe if the application is closing, give maybe 1 week before the application closes, try to submit your application. Don't go and wait till that final day because you might miss out on the or because of the time difference or your calculations and all that. So don't put in all the energy and all the time, and then at the end of the day, you end up not submitting your application. It can be really, really frustrating. It can. Someone asked about the English proficiency for Arizona State University. You don't actually need English proficiency it's not like a strong requirement, but if you have it, you can attach it and submit. If you don't have it, it's not something they are using to count against your application. Okay, so you can submit your application without English test of English or that. Even up to now, I still do not, like, I did not use English proficiency. I only used my WAEC result. When I was asked to provide proof of English, it was my WAEC result that I actually submitted. And another thing is incomplete application is as useless as not like actually submitting an application. So that was why I said tick all the boxes. Make sure that you're ticking all the boxes before you submit. I'm just looking through my list to see if there's any other thing I forgot. Yeah, so the fact that they have emails listed doesn't mean that you should spam their email, like keep sending email. Oh, when are you guys giving admission? Oh, when am I getting the interview link? Oh, when is this one? Please don't, because let them not mark your email. Don't go and start sending email every day. You're sending email every day. You're sending emails. No. So I just saw something now before I round up, and then we start taking questions. A few minutes we have. Someone asking, what are the chances of 2.2 getting this scholarship, which is something I would also use to respond to CGPA questions. So yeah, although the scholarship is not just for first class students, but you're getting a first class would help you more. I think one of the things I know very well about ASU is that they look out for your involvement in community projects. They look out for your leadership impact. Those are the main things they look at for. A second class upper can also get the ASU scholarship, right? But then you have to balance it with your leadership impact. You have to tell your story very well. Your story is extremely important. The way you tell your story is like one of the most important things for me. Tell your story. You might have done so much, but if you don't know how to actually draft your story and tell it to actually catch their attention, then you might end up not getting that the scholarship. And although those from Cambridge might argue, but I believe ASU is the best Mastercard Foundation scholarship you can get. If they let them argue, but ASU is the best. We are the best. You get so much opportunity to travel. You have access to laptop. Your visa fees are covered. You have full tuition, books, housing. your meals are covered, on-campus housing, books, everything you need is actually covered. And so if there's anything you can do to put in the best, your best to get into this particular one, I would really advise that you do it. So if you have 2 I think it was 3.0 over 5. I think you have from 3.0, it might be considered depending on your impact, your leadership work. Please try to, and then your story as much as possible. Like that story is very important. Tell your story. Tell your story. The world want to hear about all those things you've done. Write them out and then draft it in a way that will be catchy, very catchy. Don't go and write, oh, when I was in the university, I was a leader in science and technology because it's technology they want. And then you stop there. No, what particular project did you lead? How many people did you carry along? What and what did you do? So they actually want to see that. So I think that's all for me from ASU, and I'm hoping to see 30 people from this particular webinar coming next year. I saw a lot of my mentees this year when I went to be like, oh, Esther, I know you. Oh, Esther, this, and like, hey, Jesus, so LinkedIn has finished me. So please, I really want to see you. I want to see 30 people from this particular webinar coming next year, get this particular scholarship. So put in your best, reach out to the best people you know that can actually give you the best recommendation, submit your application on time, keep to the word count, keep to the formats that they ask of you, and just do your best. And I'm wishing you all the best of luck. So thank you so much. We are going to take a few questions now, and after that, we'll round up the session. I think this is going to be like the most interesting part where you get to like ask your questions and then it gets answered. So everybody should just be involved, and we have some links that we'll be sharing. Maury, you've removed it. We have
Oh,
some.
sorry. Let me share.
So we'll be sending the links. Yeah, I will send the links out. So we have some resources for scholarship applications. The link from Adinka is here. The one from Spencer is here. Successful Mastercard Foundation application tips is also here. Then this page, this last one, number 5, is the Mastercard Foundation website, where you can find, or you would see, if you look at that image, you will see applications that the ones that are currently ongoing. You see Arizona State University is ongoing, Ashesi University is ongoing. That one is for undergraduate. So you have anybody that is an undergraduate, they can actually apply to that one. You'll see the ones that are closed. So I want you to maybe bookmark the link number 5 and always like check through it to see schools that their scholarship are ongoing, so that you will know. So when that link is like the direct link to their page, you will see the ones that are closed, the ones that are open, several institutions. So you know once the application comes out, you know, and you know how to follow them up. So please, yes, we are going to send this out. We'll send out the link. There are also other resources we'll be sharing with you. All the scholarships, yeah, that Spencer mentioned, he has sent them to me. So I'll also compile them and send out. So thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you. I am always very happy when I see people interested in things like this. So thank you so much. And we'll take questions now.
Yeah, thank you, Esther. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Esther, thank you so much for sharing all your wealth of knowledge about ASU scholarship. But I will not leave this chat or this webinar without stating or without disputing what you said about Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at ASU. And I know that I have 2 other people here from the University of Cambridge that will back me up.
I'm here.
Hey, they want to finish me. Oh, Jesus.
That's a very big lie.
Yeah. So The Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at Cambridge is the best, please.
Yes,
You're not
the
going to
best.
argue.
I
We
mean,
all know
come
the
on.
truth.
Because my partners are not
Cambridge is
here.
one of the
Abi.
best schools in the
No
world.
problem.
Of
I
course.
hear you.
And we are the
Eh,
top school globally. So,
you
no,
get.
We are number one in innovation in the world. You know what that is? For more than 10 years, Arizona State University, you can browse it. No, this one is everywhere. Just go and check.
come to Cambridge,
You don't
please.
you don't want to start. You don't want to start that now. Cambridge.
Thank
Okay.
you so much. Thank you all. This is really
It's
interesting.
a friendly
Thank
banter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hello,
So,
hello,
yeah.
hello, hello.
Oh, someone is saying something.
Yeah, so I think we should take it one after the other. We
Yeah.
have some hands that are ready.
So please, we
Um,
are going to call the names like based on the hands that are raised first that we are seeing from the screen first. We call your name, you ask your question, and please, our speakers, just make it as brief as possible so that we can take as many as possible. And I'll also be asking questions that were said on YouTube because please mute or if your person is not. There were people that are viewing from YouTube, and so I'm going to like ask their questions too, please. Okay, Maureen, you can go ahead.
so the first person here is Harun. Harun, if you can hear me, can you unmute and ask your question?
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I joined a little bit late, so the question might have been answered already. So, yes,
Please, I don't
welcome.
know. Can everybody mute the mics? And I can't even look at the person who's talking now. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, Harun, please go on.
Thank you. So my question is, I just wanted to ask, because I have already completed my master's here in Nigeria. So I'm thinking, am I still eligible to apply for another master's, or that is gone already?
Uh, So for like me, I had a master's in Nigeria and I included that in my application. I was truthful. I told them I had a master's and I was admitted. So it depends on the university. Like Esther mentioned, in ASU, you're unable to do that for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at ASU. So there may be other scholarships in ASU that was not highlighted. So what you have to do is to check when you are unsure, the graduate committee or program coordinators or the person in charge of admission, they are always listed on the various websites, right, of the institutions you want to apply for. So if you're unsure of anything, you can just send them a brief email and wait for their responses. But I don't think there should be a limitation. What you should do is check the criteria of the university. If you're coming to Cambridge and the department did not, in fact, some departments even want people who have masters. My department had many of us from Africa had like masters. In my set, in the last set in my class, many people from Africa who were part of the program had masters. So I think that's what you should do. I don't know if I
Very
answered
much.
your.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The next person here is Isaac. I think who would go, you just be brief with your question. We'll take two people in one batch, and then so that it will be very fast for us. And our speakers, please just listen keenly in case they mention your name in their questions. So Isaac, after Isaac, Dave. Please unmute Isaac and ask a question.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. Please, my question is concerning the essays writing. If you are to let AI assist you, maybe you put in that they should maybe essay on leadership. They give you the format. Can you rewrite it to suit human aspects? And my second question is, can you pick two program or courses at the same school, say UBC maybe sustainable forestry and masters in professional forestry? Can you choose two programs at the same time for, let's say, Mastercard Foundation Scholarship? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Esther, you have the first question for AI. And you can, if you're still here, please, the second question, if you can choose two schools. So the next person on my screen is Dave. Dave, please, can you go ahead with your question?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful opportunity. So I've been trying to ask my question, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. So first things first, I have three questions. I don't know if I'm audible, please.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
I have three questions. Is to Esther about ASU, University, USA. So I want to know the theme of the scholarship, because every scholarship board has their theme, like what they are looking for. I believe, just like everyone has said, they are not just sponsoring you because they have all the funds. There's something they're driving at. So I want to know the theme of Arizona State University, the scholarship, what they really want to do with the candidates, so that I can know how to better apply. Then secondly, my background. Yes, we can see that this scholarship is more about innovation, technology, and all that. So I have a first class in business management in Nigeria here. And over time, I've developed interest, and not just interest, I've developed working experience, with technology, right? So I don't know if I am qualified to apply, because I have a background in business, and I don't know if I have the stakes to to apply for the technology scholarship. Then finally, my question is there a way we can connect with Esther? Is there a way we can personally connect with her, maybe to further ask her questions? Then finally, are they just selecting 30 people from Africa? I really want to know about that. These are my questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. I think Esther mentioned some of these things that you asked. The theme for Arizona is innovation and technology. And yes, as you mentioned, it's 30 people. So she'll respond to the rest of the questions. I just want maybe two more people to ask so that we save more time. And if your hand is raised and you see that somebody has asked your question, or the response is very similar to what you are expecting to hear, please you have to just take your hands down, because we have very limited time now. We've taken a lot of time. So Matthew and Ahmad Jibrin. Yes, so Matthew
Yeah.
first, Jibrin. Dave, please take your hands.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation and very insightful. My question goes to Esther. I've been applying for scholarships year in since 2013, and one of the presenters brought it that keep trying. So at this point, I wanted to take an opportunity, a chance to seek for your guidance, if you don't mind sharing the email. I may forward to you my draft, because I plan to apply early. You may help me review and see any pitfalls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Esther will be responding to you shortly. Ahmad Jubrin. Now, there is someone here said user. I don't know your name, but your hand is raised, so I can't call your name. If you can hold, but Ahmad, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. My question is actually for general scholarship. Actually, I begin most of my leadership project and tailored profiling this year. So most of my projects I begin in this year. Some I'm looking for funding, and I'm already in the second stage of the application for a funding that I want to address SDG 1 and 2. And then my final year project is also focusing on climate action and sustainable agriculture, but they are not yet complete. Now, can I input them in my leadership and scholarship applications, or should I wait for a quantifiable result before I do that? Thank you.
Please, Spencer, if you're here, you take on that question. Thank you so much. You can also retype your question, Ahmed, on the group chat, so that Spencer will get it. But thank you for asking. The next is Emmanuel and of Fajuke.
Hi,
And
Maureen. Could the person type the question in the chat and I'll respond accordingly?
okay, Ahmed, please type on the chat. Emmanuel Fajuke and Daniel Jakes, please. So Emmanuel goes first before Daniel.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the you said so far. So I wanted to ask, in our essay, do we have a multi topic in one essay? Is it how I feel have, if you want to talk about leadership, and you have several topic subjects in one essay? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mujib, I don't know if you're here. Oh, I don't think Mujib is here. Please, can you retype that question? I think I'll have to take that. Yes. We have just a few more people who have raised their hands, so we'll quickly take them. Daniel, you're next. Then Darani Joe Abraham, you're next. After
Thank you
that,
very much, Maureen. Please kindly confirm if you can hear me.
clearly.
All right, thank you so much for this session. It has been quite insightful. Thank you. So my question is, what would be your advice, either you or Esther, for someone that has a strong background in science? Specifically, I studied biotechnology with 4.45 CGPA in my undergraduate level. And right now, I have more interest in business and leadership. What would be your advice for this kind of person in pursuing master's scholarship? And secondly, you are currently in Cambridge, I believe, for the Department of Biotechnology. I couldn't find any tangible information on their website as to the requirement for the English proficiency. So please, can you confirm to me if any of the English tests is a prerequisite or a requirement for applying for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship to Cambridge? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I'll just quickly answer that. For the English proficiency, if you have, what is it called? IELTS. So what you have to do is go to the general site on admission for Cambridge. You will see what they stated there, or just type University of Cambridge English proficiency requirement for master's admission. And then when you do that, they're going to tell you the different exams. So, for example, in the IELTS, they have different bands that you have to get. For example, for the writing, you have to, I think you have to score above 7.5 in all of them. But in some cases, some departments may require that as a prerequisite for the admission. But for the department, some departments that do not require that, once you're given admission, then you have to take an English language examination that the University English Assessment Center sets for you. So if you can sit for the exam and make all of those grades, meet the bands that they've highlighted in their requirement. But if you don't, in some cases, they have to do. So what you have to do is you can write a direct message to the program coordinator or the admission office in that department and confirm that information. For your second one about moving, yes, like I said while I was talking, I said the world has transitioned. And when you look now, what is really going on or what people are doing is interdisciplinary research everywhere, every department. You go to medicine, you go to African studies, politics, interdisciplinary study. So if you are in business, you are in the sciences and you want to do business leadership, there are courses in Cambridge, for example, that you can take, sustainability in business. There are different courses like that that are interdisciplinary. So I think those are the courses that you should look out for when applying. Thank you so much. So yeah,
Maureen,
thank
can
you.
we take the questions we have now?
Yeah, so let's take the other one. So Esther first, address the ones that are there for you. Then Andy can, then Spencer.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to take the first one. Someone mentioned something about transitioning. He has a background in business and wants to go into technology, like since Arizona is about technology, yes, you can actually do that. We were 5 scholars that got admission last year, and one of us, she actually did her undergraduate in business administration, and then she got the scholarship in AI. No, I think, yeah, it was something, not business administration, but something art related, right? But then she got the scholarship in AI in business. And then she would always mention that she had no knowledge about machine learning, about programming, about anything science related before she even applied for that scholarship. But she still got the scholarship in AI in business. So whether you want to transition, you just need to tell your story. That's the same thing I keep telling you. State your story. Why are you transitioning? What is making you want to move from this to this? So if you're able to state that reason very well, then you're good to go. Yeah, so it's 30 people each year. 30 people each year. Isaac, can you mute yourself? Well, look for Isaac. So it's 30 people each year for the next 5 years. So yeah, each year 30 people, and it's Africa. Mastercard is only sponsoring from Africa, so 30 people each year from Africa. Um, um, Another one was to review. Yeah, the people that are asking me for a review, like I mentioned while I was speaking, currently I have mentees that I'm working with. I have the applications to review, which I am not even halfway through reviewing. So right now I am no longer taking applications to review because I still have a lot waiting for me that I have not gone through. I have my work, I have the social activity I'm doing. I'm also doing a fellowship. Like I'm doing so many things. I'm also involved in other organizations. So I barely sleep. Like I didn't sleep all through the night because I was planning this webinar at. I have not slept today. I did not go to work today. And so sometimes it really gets to me. I have to like cut down on some of my activities. So I'm no longer taking applications for review. I'm just going to review the ones I have that I have already gotten. And so that's it for review. And that's one reason why we hosted this webinar, because I was getting so many messages on LinkedIn via my email. And then we decided that, it's better we just speak to everybody at once. And I mentioned that right now I have over 200 and some, almost 300 connection requests on LinkedIn that I have not even attended to. And so, yeah, it gets overwhelming sometimes. And so I can't take in more, add more to what I already have. Someone asked, can I apply to different schools under the Mastercard scholarship? Yes, you can apply to ASU, you can apply to Cambridge, you can apply to McGill at the same time. There are different institutions, but within ASU, you cannot apply to 2 courses. You can only apply to 1 course, but you can apply to different Mastercard affiliated institutions.
And sorry, Esther, let me just add for Cambridge, you can apply to 3 different courses in Cambridge and also apply for the scholarship. So it depends, like I said, it's institution by institution.
So for ASU, you apply to only 1 course. So you need to read on that particular institution and know what their requirements is. So each institution have their own requirements and their own rules. So please just take your time. When we share the link, go through it and check. I think that's all for me, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Esther. I don't know, Antika, are you here now?
Yeah, I've been here. I think my question has already been answered, but I'm just going to add to what you said about applying to 3 different programs at the University of Cambridge. So the thing is this, while you are able to apply, or while you can apply to 3 different programs at the University of Cambridge, Mastercard gets to waive your application fee for just 1 program. But if you have your money intact for the rest of the programs, of course, you can always go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Antika. Spencer, are you still
Hi, Maureen, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly?
So I think the question was from Ahmad Jabrin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Jabrin, first of all, congrats on taking that proactive step around the SDG 1 and 2. These are global challenges that people are facing. And then if you are seeking funding regarding solving hunger and the kind of poverty issues, it's a really great step in that direction. Those qualities are very important, and it doesn't matter whether you have the quantifiable aspects of it or not. I think the leadership essays are not just about the quantifiable results. The committees or the scholarship committees are looking forward for evidence of your initiative, as well as you having the ability to solve a problem, the vision you have as well, and then also the impact of that particular initiative you are looking forward to, use it to solve a particular problem. So even if your current project, as you mentioned, have not produced that measurable outcome that you are still looking forward to in terms of quantity, you should still include them in. And this is the time where you have to focus on the initiative and the scope of your region. That is, describe how you identified the problem, how you went about taking the concrete step to address it. And then also to probably provide a clear step on how the strategy was used in highlighting the planning, the coordination, and all of that. You don't necessarily have to wait to get the quantifiable aspects, like in terms of numbers. And I think you mentioned something about your secondary school, if I got that correct. If you want to go back to a past experience, it depends on the scholarship. Some scholarship like Chevening, for example, they would want you to provide a recent example of something you've done recently. And it may depend, but if you want to go back to that, you have to provide context to how that applies to the scholarship or the essay you are writing on. So I think there's a noise coming from Patrick. So if you want to include the past experience from your secondary school, as you mentioned, you have to provide context to it, how it applies and how that will be relevant to whatever scholarship essay or question they are asking you. And mind you, a scholarship like Mastercard has questions different from that of Chevening. They may be quite related in terms of the themes, but then not the same question. So you can't use the same essay or the same thing. Depends on what they're looking for. So I think that's just my view on it, if that makes sense to you.
All right, thank you so much, Spencer, for that. The next set of people we have here, please, if you have asked your questions, you can just take your hands down, so I'll be able to sort out those that have not asked. Thank you so much. So we have Peki, Saxivrich, you are the next, then Temosu, and then Toafik. These three people, please ask your questions. Peki first, then Muso second, and Toafik. If you have asked your questions, please take your hands down. So let's go, Peki. I can't find Peki. Temoso, please go ahead.
Thank you. My question is for Esther. This is regarding that essay for the ASU scholarship, which speaks about resilience, leadership, and impact. I noticed that there's a lot of emphasis on it being like a specific experience. And my question is, should one go for something that's like a initiative that is like some people mentioned they're doing some programs or, something that's bigger or wider? Or is it okay to go for something like a specific event that happened within, let's say, the workplace where you had to really have that resilience and leadership in that moment, and it would have a good impact within the workplace, as an example? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Esther. Please, you have that question. Taufik, please go ahead with your question. Taufik.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for the session. So my question is just about the essay, just directed to anyone can answer. So when Esther was talking, she mentioned that we can write essays write it personally and give it to AI to correct it for us. But the problem I have now is after writing the essay, I put it on Quillbot and I was having a 0% generated AI. After giving to AI to help me to make it sweet and make the flow a better one, I was having 100%. So my question is, what should I submit? Should I go ahead and submit the 0% that was written by myself, or use the 100% AI that help me in thus making it flow, making it better? Which one should I go for? That's my question.
Thank you so much for your question. Esther, please, that's your question also. We have I don't know if
Because my net.
yeah,
Hello, can
yeah,
you hear me?
yeah, please go ahead.
Please, thank you for the webinar. It was an eye opening. You know, initially I wanted to go applying for scholarships in the USA, not until I got to a stage in the webinar where someone was saying that we shouldn't fix our mind in one country, you understand? So my question is this, what are the post opportunities in studying in USA compared to Canada? Because I usually find there are a lot of opportunities after studying in Canada compared to USA, because you don't want to study and you're done, they will not send you back home. You know, it sounds somehow. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Spencer, please, you mentioned that in your presentation, so you'll address that question. Thank you. The next person, Taufik, have you asked a question? I don't
Maureen,
know.
let's
Yeah?
try to round up in next maybe 10 minutes. It's
Okay, yes.
over 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, it's even exhausting now. So, Taufik, Agbayi, Chidema, please, let's go in that order. Fast, 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 please. Taufik, please.
Yeah, I've asked my question. I just dropped my sorry about that.
Okay, sorry. Please, if your hand is still raised, you can drop your question in the chat before the stuff ends. Agbayi, please go ahead. And then Chidema.
Yeah, sorry, confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, clearly.
Thank you so much for the webinar. So my question goes to Esther regarding ASU because I'm currently applying for the Mastercard Foundation program there in energy systems, right? So I have leadership experience, but then the one I have related to, or that is related to, the course I want to do under Mastercard Foundation doesn't really carry weight. And then the one that carries weight is on the health sector. So my question to Esther is, in this case, how do we go about something like that? Do you advise that we should write on the one that we've been practicing over time, or the one that is related to the course of study? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Esther, that's also your question. Chidema, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I thank the organizers for this program. So my question is actually relating to mentorship, because I know that I've been applying, I started applying last year and I was not able to get anyone, and I'm trying to start applying this year. So I actually want to know if if Opportunity Unlock has a mentorship program where we can get paired to someone that could like direct us on what to do and how to do it, because sometimes I get confused.
Okay, so thank you so much for that question. We have a WhatsApp group chat where we share updates, right? So maybe in the email that will be sent, the follow-up email, we'll add that link there so you can just follow us. There currently, as you can see, our team is very small, and the mentorship we're currently handling is for undergraduates, people who just finished from secondary school, because that's like we want to really target those young people and see them through from jam down to like post-study, right? So that's where we are currently focusing on mentorship. Esther organizes one-on-one mentorship, but at the moment she's overwhelmed with a lot. And for the past I think 48 hours, she hasn't slept. Like since yesterday, I remember that her time zone is different from ours. She has not slept. So for now, we don't have that for postgraduates. But just join that WhatsApp group, and so I think sometimes the group will be opened for people who want to ask questions, and then closed again, so you can ask your questions from there. Thank you so much. Ungum, uh, Ungum Epiphany. I hope I've answered your question, gentlemen. And Uncle George, please ask your question. And this will
I heard
be,
you calling my name.
yes, please.
Okay, Bumi Epifania, good evening. Thanks so much for the session today. It was so enriching. I've been applying for a good number of scholarships. Some I get admission, and at the end of the day, I don't secure the scholarship. My first question I want to ask is concerning the use of humanized AI tools in application. If you, after using AI, you use humanized tools in your application, is it still possible that they will still discover that you use humanized AI tools to improve on your application? Secondly, I applied to American Beirut University last year, and I applied to the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship for that university. I got admission in the university, and I also applied for the Mastercard Foundation to cover my studies in the university. Up to today, I have not received feedback from the Scholarship Foundation, but the school has been writing me to pay a commitment fee of $1,000 to engage in studies as classes will be beginning soon. So at this point, I'm really confused of how to go about it. How can I get to the Mastercard Foundation? I've not gotten feedback from them. And I feel those who were selected for the scholarship, they are already selected already because the time they gave to do the interview and for the final selection, as I read from the scholarship, is already over. So how will you advise me to go about this situation? Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I'll just take those. So in such situation, some schools, some admission bodies will just sometimes they just write only to people who are successful. So if you don't hear from them, you most likely have not been selected. But to be very sure, you can write an email to their official, send an email to their official mail. And if you don't get a response, then I think you should look forward to the next admission year or the next admission section when your portal opens, and you can also explore other schools. For generative AI, the different policies across various institutions differ. So even right now, I'm sure there are some schools that may be using certain technologies to sort the documents and the write-ups that are coming into their school system. So it's actually depends, right? And one cannot really tell because we are not part of the admission committee. But what I would say is be as realistic as possible. When you want to use AI, let it only be for the editing. And when you've edited, like the other question, for me, my take is if you've edited and you're checking the tool and ensuring that it's 100% AI, I think you can go back and humanize it. Use your own words again. It's better to be on the safer side. So humanize it because sometimes most schools have advanced technologies, just as most job applications you do have technologies that sort out applications that meet their criteria. Some schools may also have that. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I've answered your
Thank you
question.
very
I'm
much.
sure,
Thank
yes,
you.
other speakers might also answer. The
No,
last,
I
okay,
think Spencer can go and then I will just answer and then we close up.
yeah. Okay, so should we are done with the questions, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure I've answered everyone who had questions. Thank you so much for
Sorry,
for
sorry, Maureen, can you hear me? Sorry for cutting you. There's
oh,
somebody that has been saying his hand has been up and then he dropped his question in the comment section. We are here to attend to it. Daranijo Abraham.
okay.
Maybe you should take a look at that, please.
Esther, please. All right, Abraham, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for the webinar. So I've been interested in scholarships like Mastercard, right? That cover a lot of expenses and everything. But because it's very limited, like I only know like Mastercard and maybe like Knight NSC and other stuff like that. They're very limited. Do you think it's better for someone like me or to approach those scholarships and also apply for PhDs into the respective universities, or I should just really focus on this one, like focus on quality instead of quantity? Which one will give a better chance of success? That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay,
Okay.
Daranijo, I think I'll take this one from here. While I was speaking, I mentioned that I myself, I was very particular about Canada. At the time, I was just so keen on going there. but then I had to widen my scope. I think one of the speakers, Andika, also mentioned that you have to widen your net as far as you can, and don't limit yourself to just one, because let's assume that you applied to only Mastercard and don't get in. How about, other schools that have great scholarship? Like Maureen said, there are some scholarships that they are not known, yet they are very powerful. They give you most of the expenses that, you would need. My scholarship, for example, is not that popular. Even if I mention, you might not even know. But then it covered my flight, everything, blah, blah, blah. Yet it was told, not the same experience as Mastercard, but because Mastercard is like a community. You meet people from different countries. Mine is just for 2 best African students in Africa. So, there are a lot. You don't have to limit yourself to just one. So if you want to go for Mastercard, yes, shoot. Don't restrain from that. However, just open your net wide. Just go deep. Look for different opportunities also, because there are a lot you cannot even speak of. And if you are only concerned about just let's say one country, there are a lot of countries that have great scholarship. Netherlands has one. Germany has DAAD. A lot of them. So if you limit yourself to just one, you might never know. You are just restraining yourself to just what might be possible for you elsewhere. So I think just a simple no. The answer is no. Expand your horizon to different search.
Thank you, Spencer. And sometimes we even forget other Asian countries, China, Japan,
Yeah, Hong Kong.
countries, Hong Kong, they give scholarships, right? So please try and explore.
All right.
I don't know if we'll be doing a disadvantage. There's still one last person. Esther, sorry. Let's satisfy everyone so that we will not feel guilty after now. Uncle George, are you able to take a question? Uncle George. All right, Esther.
All right, so thank you, Spencer. Thank you, everyone. Like, I truly appreciate, even if you just came to learn, it's also your time and it's very important. So thank you for joining this webinar. I'm going to summarize. And also one thing, we had previous questions, like questions that were submitted before the webinar today. So speakers already have answers to those questions. So what we'll be doing is we'll be sharing the responses, the answers on our social media. So just follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, any of our platforms. We'll be sharing those responses like from tomorrow. You keep on seeing answers to some of the questions we were not able to take. Even from those on YouTube, we'll get their questions and then we'll share the answers to those questions on media platforms. And so there was a question about essay, like having different headings or different leadership experience in one essay. I think so. So yes, you can. So for my essay, I wrote about my work with Opportunities Unlocked, my idea, what I do, mentoring people and coming up with programs that help people in Africa. And then the one specific project I wrote about was the Skill of the Girl Child, which was a program we did in, I think, 2022. And how many people were impacted, the number of women. It was a free program. I wrote specifically, I wrote on that. And then I wrote about my volunteering activity with different other organizations, right? With different organizations in Nigeria that I was volunteering with that period, and also my NYC experience, how I took part in the community project, what I did, being a part of it. So you can write on different things. Those are the things that make up your leadership experience. You should not just focus on one particular thing for your essay. So this thing should build up, but your story should be aligned. Don't go and write, oh, in 2023, I did something in this, and then you go back to 2019, and then you come back to 2015. So arrange it accordingly. Let them see the story moving in a structured format, right? Oh, because I did this, I got the skill that helped me to do this other project, and this other impact helped me to see that, oh, I need to improve, and that's why I'm applying for this scholarship, because I believe that if I'm given the opportunity to get this scholarship in information technology or in data science, I'll be able to come up with a program or a research work that will help people in Nigeria from Sokoto State to combat this particular disease or this particular issue. So, right, so tie it back to something, to a project. For the person that mentioned about a project he's currently working on that he's not done, he has not finished, and then the ones that he has done doesn't really align. You can see it's all about you telling your story. Like, the way, like, there are people that are submit the application that is not even connected to what they want to study and they still get that scholarship. It's just their story. Like, okay, you've done this project and you connect it to the project you're currently doing that is aligned to the first of all, you start with the project you've done. It's not connected, but it shows that, oh, you're a leader in something, you've done something, you've done something. Then you now bring it back to your current stage. Oh, this is what I'm currently doing now. This is the impact it will create once I finish it. This is the number of people it will impact. This is my position in this particular project, right? So you tell that story, arrange it. It's going to affect 1,000 people in Nigeria. And if I don't do this project, this is what is going to happen. Craft your story. And I believe that if I'm given the opportunity to do this master's, it will give me an eye-opening insight to see what is happening around the world, the type of tools, the type of programming languages that I can better implement in advancing this particular project. So it's all about your story. So a lot of my mentees, when they come and I talk to them, like, oh, Jesus. So this was how I wanted to write it, but you've opened my eyes now. Like, I see a lot of potential in this AC, and then they draft it. It becomes wide. That small story they had, the way they expand it, right? It becomes wide for them, and they are able to submit something. So think of your work as something global. Don't see it as a small project. See it as something global that can make a lot of impact, and then tell it that way. Make sure you add whatever impact is going to make. And then another one, I think Maureen answered that one about the AI generated. What I will always say, like just as I mentioned, write your stories first. Don't just rush to AI. Write your stories first. When you're done writing it, maybe if a particular AI tool doesn't really give you what you want, there are so many AI tools out there that you can try out. So don't just focus on ChatGPT. There's Gemini, there's Cloud, there's Perplexity, there's Manus, there's Copilot. In fact, every day every day new ones are coming up. So look for another tool that can give you what you want, right? That can help you write that thing in a more human readable way, and not just making it AI generated. And when you're writing, please remove all those dashes. You see all those dash, apostrophe, hyphen, all these things. Remove all of them. In fact, once I see a write-up and I see all those things, some people even add the icon, all those emojis, they will leave it inside their write-up. That one is already selling it that this is AI generated. So please remove those things when you start, when you want to submit your AC. All those dash, hyphen, those little things, remove them. And those are the things that will even make it capture that, oh, this is AI generated. So edit all those things out. And what else again? I think someone mentioned opportunities in US and Canada. I think Spencer mentioned this when he was speaking. It's easier for you, like you go to UK, you will now have more like global access. It's easier for you to travel around the world when you've already left Africa. So just like they've also mentioned, do not just say, oh, there is so much job opportunities in US, in Canada, more than US. There are jobs here. There are still people in Canada that are suffering, that have not gotten job, that still go back home. So it's all about you positioning yourself, and even while you're studying and when you graduate. I told the current scholars that came in, this is when you start fighting for what you want. Like start, if there's a program, if there's an opportunity, start taking them now, because you have 2 years. Don't say, oh, I have 2 years, then I will wait until when I graduate. No, start looking for all those opportunities now before you graduate, right? So it all depends on you coming out. When you leave, you get a scholarship and you leave, or you apply to any school and you leave. Don't just come, oh, I've left Africa. You now sit down and start doing nothing. No, you have to position yourself and start fighting for what you want. Like start putting in your best. Or is it job you want? What are the sectors? Is this particular company you want to apply to? So you look at those companies and check their requirement, and you start positioning your graduate school certificate, getting some additional skills that can help you get the job you want once you graduate. So yes, there are jobs everywhere. You just need to position yourself and know what you want and go for them. So that's my take on that one. So whether US, UK, Canada, China, where anywhere in the world people are surviving, everybody can also survive. So just do your best and travel or get the scholarship first. then you can start thinking of job or access. And Mastercard doesn't really force you to like, oh, you must go home or you must do, no, it's not like other scholarship, right? That is not how Mastercard, if it's actually Mastercard you want to apply for, there is no, you must go back to your country to go and do this and that. No, it's not like that. So I think this brings us to the end of today's section. I really want to appreciate everyone that stayed to the till the end. We are going to send you an email with everything that we've discussed today, and then we'll respond to the questions that are pending. We are so sorry to those that were not able to take their questions. We'll respond to those questions. And thank you to our speakers. I truly, truly appreciate your time. Our next webinar is next week, Saturday. We'll have a webinar on AI. Maury mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's a collaboration between us and Baobab, which is like Mastercard Foundation platform for social for leaders in Africa. So they have some certification courses designed from ASU here. And so if you want to gain access to those courses, you want to be a part of Baobab, you can join that particular webinar next week, Friday, starting at the same time. The application link is on our website, so you can still register and you get the necessary information when we started. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time and God bless you. I'm wishing you all luck. Please do not limit yourself to a particular scholarship. Apply as wild as apply to as many as you can. You can reach out to other people. The fact that I'm not available doesn't mean there are people there that are not available. So you can read that there are scholars everywhere. Utilize your social media, reach out to other scholars that have time this period, and they might also be willing to help you review your application. So thank you. And
thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful.
I'm hoping to see a lot of you next year. Say, Esther, I attended the webinar, and thank you for the webinar. So see you. Bye.
See you in Cambridge.
Judging by your contributions to society.